I should add myself to the stream before I start talking. Hey, welcome to the Matriarchy, everybody. What is up? What is up, everyone? It's me, your God Empress, Jesse Milestone. Welcome, Mindless Mob, to another great edition of the Matriarchy. And with me, of course, as always, my incredible best friend, Anna, that Star Wars girl.
Hello. What's up?
What is
How was your Thanksgiving?
What's that?
How was your Thanksgiving? And happy birthday, guys. Jesse has entered a new realm of her life, a new decade.
That's true. I'm officially old now.
No,
yeah, turned the big 3-0 on Saturday. It was a really magical birthday. I can't lie. It was probably the best one I've ever had, and I spent almost the entire time in the same room with Jeff. We stayed up at a cute little mountain resort in Big Bear, little mountain town where all the skiing happens and shit nearby here. And for those of you who don't live in SoCal, we got a nice room with a king size bed, Jedid's tub in the room, and so we had some fun. We did some recreational activities. We did each other. We had a really good day, and it was just like there was something about it, and it was the cake. Literally, and my birthday my Thanksgiving was the same too. There was something about the spirit of it that was so right, and just the love and the togetherness and the joy that everyone brought. The couple people that came over for Thanksgiving, and then just Jeff and me on my birthday, and the people who called, wish me a happy birthday and stuff. That was I was magical. I didn't miss a thing. I thought it was going to suck because 2020 is broken, and I can't have my big birthday bash and all that. And it was the best birthday I've ever had. So,
oh, that's nice.
It was great. Simple, easy, but got to get away and got to have a good time. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, but I gotta tell you, I was fucking starving. I absolutely hate Thanksgiving food.
Oh, of course.
And I was with Peaches' family, and so they are normal, and they have normal Thanksgiving food, and they don't make like mac and cheese or like stuff for special people like me. And so I brought a cherry pie because I love cherry pie. And so I brought a cherry pie and a pecan pie. And Peaches doesn't like cherry pie, so I was expecting the rest of his family to not like cherry pie like him. No, of course, everybody likes cherry pie. So the one thing I brought that I like was gone.
Oh, no.
Instantly. And so I was like, God dang. And so I was so hungry the whole weekend because there was nothing really for me to eat. Then I'm just starving. I'm like, babe, can we just go down the street? Because we're up in the mountains. I'm like, can we just go down the street to like the supermarket so I can grab something? Of course, everything's closed. I can't get food. His mom only has healthy snacks. And so we got to my mother's house, and of course she's on a diet. So there's no food there. And I was like, except for Thanksgiving food. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. And then finally we got to his friend's house because he hadn't seen them in a while. So we stayed the night there. And his friend's husband made me a hot dog. And it was the greatest hot dog I've ever had after like 3 days of eating almost nothing. It was great. And I starved on Thanksgiving, guys.
Oh, that's really sad. I'm glad you were, had family and shit and all that, but Thanksgiving is so about food. It just makes that. And that's the kind of thing where it's like, I love all the traditional Thanksgiving foods and stuff like that, but it's an eating holiday. So I think everyone should have the foods that make them happy on Thanksgiving, even if it's weird. Like the weirdest dishes that my family has for our Thanksgiving, it's our stuffing. It's just called stuffing. We just call it stuffing. We've always called it stuffing. It's not stuffing. It's just ground beef, onions, and rice. It never gets stuck in a turkey ever. It just gets cooked up on the stove deliciously. Whatchamacallit? It's so good. We just put Jeff seasoned it this year and did an incredible job. It was even better than we usually get at home. But it's this weirdo dish. So I'm always like, I love that. That to me is a staple of Thanksgiving. So I've always been in a situation of like, one of my traditional Thanksgiving dishes is weird. I ain't judging anyone else's. Thanksgiving to me is always the day that you should get to eat the things you want. So if you ever came to one of my Thanksgivings, Anna, there would be bowls of candy and chicken nuggets and pepperoni pizza. And
I hate chicken nuggets, but
all right, pepperoni pizza. There you go. I was like,
I will gladly take that. And the worst thing is, it's like, I was gonna make food that I could eat, but then his mom and like everyone, they're like, no, there's not gonna be that many people, so we don't want like too much food. And me thinking, I'm like, okay, his mom always has something that I could eat, but so they just bought like a new house in the mountains because that's where they're gonna retire at. And so we were at the new house, so of course she doesn't have all of her food there. And it was just like a disaster waiting to happen for me, which is exactly what happened. And I know people in the chat are like, just eat the Thanksgiving food if you're starving. You don't know how much I don't like if I try to eat something I don't like, it just comes right back out. Like I cannot swallow that stuff.
I think you're a super taster.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, we're just like it's like that. So it's like for reference for people, some of you guys probably have this where if you have the thing where if you taste like cilantro, if you eat cilantro, it tastes like soap. That's the best example for people to really understand like what a true super taster is. It's like, that's a weird genetic thing, the cilantro one, but there are some people, it's a weird genetic thing too, where like, if you taste something, like, it's not that Anna is picky and just doesn't like these foods, that when you taste these foods that everyone else thinks are great, it just tastes disgusting to you. Like,
well, it's not just that. It's like I can taste every single ingredient of it. And so if there's something that I absolutely love, like, for example, like if I was to eat Alfredo sauce, I absolutely love Alfredo sauce. I love going to, Italian restaurants and getting, cheese raviolis with Alfredo sauce. It's one of my favorite dishes. If they use wine in the Alfredo sauce, it's not edible for me. I can't stand the taste.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what a super taster would be, is your taste buds parse out, you can parse out all those specific flavors, which also, again, though, why there's a larger list of foods you don't like that other people do, is because some of those really strong flavors that for a regular palate resonate as like, ooh, really good, that good like umami or savoriness or something, for you is probably overwhelming, so it just tastes rotten or rancid or gross. Like that like it'd be really weird for one day. Like, I would love, you're a person I'd love to, like, for a day, switch brains, like switch bodies or something, just to see it. Cause like, I would be so interested to see what like food tastes like, foods that I like taste like through your mouth. And I'd be so interested to hear what your experiences were like, seeing what food tastes like to other people,
Oh my God, I would love to like have like no taste ability like you normies, and well, like, I shouldn't say that, but I would love to just like not be picky or not to dislike so many foods, because it's such a problem and I hate it. But I would love to just, we can switch tongues for a day and you can go taste every single fucking ingredient and every single thing you eat, and I'll just be like, ooh, I can't eat spicy food.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you.
You'll be like, wow, I can eat literally everything else, just nothing spicy. Okay, wow, what a world! You can decide if it's a worthy trade-off. Do you like spicy foods regularly?
Yeah, I usually it's weird though. I don't like it when it's like sauces.
But you like it when it's just that makes sense, because
if it's like chili, if the base is from like chili, but chili powder.
Like powder.
If it's a powder base, I can take it. If it is like a sauce, because the thing is, I like buffalo wings. I only started liking them when I got into college, because I feel like I finally adapted, because I was eating so much Mexican food and spicy food that I was able to adapt and be able to have a tolerance for the heat. Yeah. But, when I was younger, I remember trying a hot Cheeto and it just burned my tongue. But then I liked the taste of it, but it was just painful. Yeah. So after years of eating it, I'm able to like tolerate it.
Well, that makes sense though, because pain is just like that heat you get from spice that you learn to tolerate is just the sensation of pain. So the sauces that you don't like it's the flavors, it's because the sauces all have flavors in them as well that are probably really off-putting, but the heat is just pain tolerance. So you could have easily, like you did, just train that. No, that makes total sense. That's kind of neat. I just want to address in the chat too. I don't know if you guys all knew this though, because a few of you are saying like, oh, cilantro on its own is inedible or tastes like dish soap or whatever. is that, I don't know if all you knew that, like for those of you saying that, that's not what other people taste when they taste cilantro. Like, yeah, I mean, someone like Jeff and people like Jeff and I who don't really love it, if I bit into a cilantro leaf, I wouldn't like that much cilantro flavor, but it wouldn't taste bad per se the way it does to you guys.
Well, it's actually a genetic thing. It's weird. It's like with cilantro and mango. So mango to me tastes like vomit, like the feeling like when you're gonna vomit and like vomit is coming up your tongue and out of your body.
No.
That's
so
what a
sad.
mango tastes like to me.
That's so sad because I love mango, and I'm so sad that you don't get to enjoy it because, like,
well, see, I've met a few other people that are like that. I've only met one other person with the cilantro thing, but I've met I think at least 5 or 6 people with the mango thing.
And that's the same thing. That's what I'm saying in the chat. Like, it's a genetic thing, so your body actually like it sends a different signal to the brain. So whereas like I will eat mango and taste sweet, sugary deliciousness, you'll eat it and taste something completely different, which is so bizarre. That makes me more sad than if you were just a person who just didn't like mango. Because I'm like, oh, you didn't get a choice. You didn't get to eat a mango and go, oh, I don't like the flavor of mango. You ate a mango and you went, oh, I don't know what this is, but this is disgusting. Please help. Like, and that's not what mango is supposed to taste like. So that
I used to I love fruit, absolutely love fruit. And it's very rare that I don't like fruit. So when I went to go try a mango for the first time, I was really excited because everyone around me loves mango. And I took a big bite and like, I immediately spit out. I was like, what the is that? And everyone else was like, what on earth? This is like the best mango. It's so ripe and it's so good. And I'm just like,
The mango, whatchamacallit? Oh, so Caleb says there's a specific gene which allows them to have the bitter taste of cilantro. I actually learned this in biology recently. So is it that you have to have, so is it if you have the gene, then you get the positive bitterness and not the nasty soapy flavor? Whatever it is, it's cool. But yeah, I remember learning that back in the day that it was actually a genetic thing. I didn't realize the mango one was too, and apparently it's more prevalent than I thought because Shadow Warchild and Space Monkey both can't do mango either. So Space Monkey says tastes like dirt. Shadow Warchild just says can't deal with it. So I didn't realize that. That was that
even if like it's a mango flavor in like a drink or something, I can't drink it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because it's just that whatever that thing is that creates mango flavor, whatever genetic difference is, it makes your brain like whenever you get the triggers that the rest of us would, trigger, yay, mango flavor, it's going to trigger that gross flavor for you. That's so weird. Like now what I want to try to do at some point is I want to try to see if I can blend other fruit juice flavors together in a way that makes them taste mango-ish without having any mango in it. So that I can, because now it's become my life's work to be able to demonstrate to you the deliciousness that is the true flavor of mango.
If you can do that and maybe it's something in it.
Yeah, just the joy of sharing
artificial mango flavor I can't do,
Because that's what I'm saying. Artificial mango flavor usually is still going to, usually artificial mango flavor is still going to use some essence from the actual fruit. So, like a lot of fruit, some fruit juices, like you look at and you're like, oh wow, there's none of those actual or like a candy where they don't use any of the actual flavors that's supposed to be in it, but they blend a bunch of other juice flavors together so it tastes like it. That's what I want to see because I want to see if I can bring to you the joy of eating mangoes without the horror of actually eating mangoes. So that's my goal. If you're wondering why I like mangoes so much, I don't know. I've always really, really enjoyed the fruit. My Skype username, I think, is still, our sign-in name is still I Eat Mangoes. So, yes, it makes me really, really sad to know that my best friend is not really able to enjoy mangoes the way that I am. It's like that moment when you find out that someone, your best friend, had to have a hysterectomy or something when they can't have kids. It's like that devastating for me. I would rather have mangoes than children.
Oh.
That will probably change at some point in my life. But at this particular moment in my life, if they were like, do you want to never have a mango again or never have children? I'd be like, I think I got to keep mangoes. Dakari Garment, thank you for the super chat. Says, happy belated birthday to the gutsy god empress Jessie. I appreciate both you and the amiable artista Anna for bringing more joy, honesty, and happiness in 2020. Sorry I haven't been around. School is a beast. No worries.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
We really do. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you've been staying on top of school. That is, of course, the most important thing. We love seeing you around, and we're glad that we've been able to bring you some joy and entertainment. And Macy Van Dusen says, here and gone. Hail the matriarchy. Woo! Hope you catch us again later. Howdy, Jesse and Anna. Please pat your pet for me. Tell your significant others howdy for me. Happy December. I will do that, Macy. I can do it right now. Hey, Jeff. Macy says hi.
Oh, hey, Macy Van Dusen. What's up?
And I'm patting, even though I'm not on camera, I'm patting Jane. He's sitting next to me. I'm giving him a little scritch right now. I don't think a single day goes by in my life where I don't give copious amounts of love to all 4 of these little beasts. Yes. How are your 4-leggeds?
Tulip just turned 2 years old.
Oh, she's a baby still.
So she had a birthday, and we took her to the puppy beach, and she was so happy. The second we got there, her favorite type of dog, which is a little white boy poodle, was right there, and she immediately got to play with him, and then she got tired, and so she wanted to go. She's like, I'm done playing with you, dog. She went for a little bit more of a walk. We walked a whole puppy beach. And then on the way back, she saw another little white doggy. And they started playing and playing and playing. And then the other doggy got tired. And then Tulip was ready to walk. She had such a good day. And then the cats broke my candle.
Aww.
Yeah.
No fun. I don't want.
But Tulip is a princess. She's 2 years old. She's 2.
She's all grown up. She's still a baby. Our boys are, see, we got 7, 8, and 1.5 on our kitties. Oh yes, Maddie, it's very close. It was my birthday on Saturday. So yes, we are happy birthday since this is the first matriarchy since. But thank you very, very much. And thank you, Brian McCann, as Jesse was on fire last night. We'll be getting right back to it. As I say, if you guys are sitting here wondering, do these guys have a show? Are they ever going to get to a show? Are they just talking? No, we do very much have a show. That is part of why we're having such a lovely chat right now, is we're about to get fired up. So we're just easing our way into it with our lovely conversation. We also, it's been a couple weeks. We had a week off, so we got to catch up, figure out, what we've missed in each other's lives, read this beautiful super chat from Adam Wofford, and then start raging and screaming. So just, hold on to your shorts because it'll happen very, very soon. And let's see. Adam Wofford says, also, it depends on where furts are grown for reasons I don't completely know, but the taste of the same fruits. Okay, I was like, fruits are different depending on, just a quick, time, what state or country they came from. Interesting. I was like, what's a furt? Is that like a weird subset of mango I don't know about? Nope, fruit. Figured it out. That's interesting. I knew that a little bit because of stuff like, people talk about like, Florida oranges versus California oranges and stuff like that. But I whatchamacallit, I didn't know that was like a thing people, looked at and considered. Yeah. Oh, so fun fact, by the way, that person that I just sent that really, really mean reply to earlier?
Mm-hmm.
He replied back, so I sent an even worse one.
Oh.
He thinks he's trying to break my logic, but he's not doing a very good job. He's trying to figure out he's like, no, the logic is you're a terrible person. So I'm saying the things I think will bother you the most because I don't like you. I want you to be miserable. I'm not going to add that last part because I feel like I've made the point enough. It's just overkill at that point. I feel like it's very clear that I want to be miserable by everything else I've said to him. The logic is you're a terrible person, so I'm saying the things I think will bother you the most because I don't like you. Yep, that's the logic there. And it's nice because I can be it's fun to be that transparent sometimes with people because it's like, what are you're gonna outsmart me here? I'm not trying to outsmart you here. I'm not trying to be cleverer than you. I don't need to be. I know I'm smarter than you. I'm just trying to make you feel bad because I hate you. And guess what? Yeah, that makes me a bad person. Sure, I don't give a shit. That's the fun about being Jesse is I'm not concerned with whether or not society thinks I'm a good person. I'm not concerned with whether or not society thinks I'm right or wrong. I'm concerned with telling you what I think is real and true. And that is part of why you guys can always trust my takes on shit. Why the mindless mob keeps coming back. Why you will come back to people like me and Anna, no matter what is going on in the world, because we're not going to give you bullshit. We're going to give you straight. because we don't have I have nothing to gain. I'm not trying to game the system. I'm not trying to sit here trying to make it in someone else's system. I'm here building my own system. I have nothing to gain by trying to ingratiate myself with other people. I even had that moment earlier today where I was like, you know where I went wrong with my channel? I went wrong when everyone else started telling me, Jesse, if you really want to go to that next level, you got to start, doing these the thumbnails this way and hit these topics and make sure you're hitting these points and when and this format and that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I do want to get to that next level. But you know what? Fuck it. Because I tried that way and it got me nowhere. And that's great for some people. Because for some people, that is exactly what their channel is about and what it should be. And it's important, because there are certain channels in the fandom that are approximating, a news show or a late night show. And so having certain graphics or intros or things are very important because of the goals of those channels. That's not the goal of this fucking channel. The goal of this channel is for me to sit here and fucking tell you the fucking truth. And if that's what y'all are here for, strap in because Jesse is fucking back. If those are the kind of videos you came to see and that you were missing, if you miss showing up on my channel and seeing my big stupid face making some ridiculous gesture and expression with a couple of words like what the fuck, letting you know what kind of video you were in for, if that's the shit for mindless entertainment you miss, well, great. Because that's the shit that's coming back. So.
Yay! I was one of the people I think that said the thumbnail things, but that's because it was working for me at the time. But you're right. Just the picture of you on your bed where you're yelling, it's like what is this video when you click on it?
Right.
I think if you do like that, get back to that old format, that same camera angle where you're just sitting on your bed yelling. I think that would work.
Damn straight. I thought of that. Like I almost shot something in my car when I got home. Today I was like, this isn't going anywhere. I can sit on this for a minute, but just come back to that. Fuck the green screen. Like the green screen's awesome. I love it. I'm going to use it for tons of sketches, for tons of other videos. We use it for Shit Pancake always, and it's awesome. It's a great tool to have. Not for my videos. You don't need a green screen for my videos. You need my face and my voice, and that is fucking it. And I got caught up with this idea that somehow to be more legitimate or more this, that I needed the production value. That's for filmmakers. When I make a film, I can't care about the production video. You want to see my production value, watch my music video. It went up in July, and I think it looks great in terms of something I shot in a couple days in my fucking apartment with my phone. I think it did a pretty darn good job. That's my portfolio for production value. You want to hear what I have to say. You want to hear me speak the truth. I don't need an intro or a screen or a background or visual references or that. I need my lungs and my voice. So that's all. Anyway, you prepared to hear more of those and probably contribute a little bit of your own? All right. So you can already probably get a sense of where we're going to go with this just by the caption of the article I'm going to share with you. I don't know if the rest of you guys have heard what's going on in the music industry with Sia. Sia is someone I don't care at all about, although I did just discover that she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is perhaps the reason why she always hides her face and her visage.
She has what?
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
What's that?
It's the same thing they think Abraham Lincoln might have had. It causes weird double jointedness, weird elongation of your of a lot of your fingers typically, and so it can present with very odd facial features. It just makes you look kind of weird. But it can cause a lot of physical. It can cause pain depending on how severely you have it. It can cause a lot of arthritis in those joints, a lot of pain in those joints. And it can also cause it's frequently people with Ehlers-Danlos will have things like tachycardia and other POTS syndrome things where it's like messes with your inner stability, like your blood pressure and your inner rhythms and stuff. Maddie Hammond, Honest Mangoes. That's what we should rename this. The Matriarchy should call it the Honest Mango Show. So I didn't know that about her too, which is actually a really interesting thing to learn about an artist that I previously didn't give a shit about one way or the other, because it really adds richness to the story that I'm about to unfold for you. So Sia, turns out, I don't know how much of the of this proper story is going to go in the article that I'm going to share to you. So I'll give you the background as I see it, and then we'll read the article and see what everyone else thinks. Sia had a friend, I guess, growing up who was differently abled in terms of like she was on the spectrum somewhere. She had very poor language skills, stuff like that and whatnot. And so Sia decided she wants to make a movie about music and how music touches people no matter what and all this stuff. And so she based this character off of her friend as a child that she had growing up, this differently abled person. And and went to make this movie and tried to work with somebody who had a similar disability, and found that this a girl was not able to feel comfortable or enjoy being on set in order to do the work that needed to be done. And so in the interest of kindness, rather than trying to force somebody who is differently able to do the work you need to do, because representation matters, she picked somebody else, specifically Maddie Ziegler. Yeah, she's a singer. So John Thomas, yeah, the most famous song that you would know of hers is probably Chandelier. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. The I wanna swing from the chandeliers, the chandeliers. Suffice to say, she is a pop singer, you know, probably a step below the ones you've actually heard of, which is why you haven't heard of her.
Well, I mean, I've seen Sia perform.
Yeah. But she's like, I would say she's up there in that circle of like the Katy Perry's, the Ariana Grande. She's just like, she's a pop singer who has her own persona, her own style, her own thing, but she sings those kinds of songs, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah. She's definitely pop. I would say she's a little bit more... I would say like people take her a little bit more seriously.
Like
maybe it's because she's older. I think people also really like the geniusness of the mystery of her look. Yeah.
So it's pop, but it's not as bubblegummy as like a Katy Perry or someone like that.
Yeah.
It's more like a Madonna in her later years where she's cultivated a more specific look.
Also, I think I've heard her perform without auto-tune.
Uh-huh.
And so that might be where the respect also comes from.
That's fair, although the only time I've heard her perform without autotune was she was not good on it, and it sort of turned me off to her a little bit there, because it was something where it was one of these things, you know, in the early days of the pandemic, whenever all these artists were getting together to do with this or that or the other. Oh, you're stuck at home, so here, tune into our variety show. And it was a comedy one. A bunch of comedians had done some sketches and stuff, and it was a special performance by Sia at the end of it. And it wasn't a live performance, clearly, because it was, you know, a couple camera. She's singing, standing somewhere else, and then it shows her hands playing the piano. So it's a little produced cut, and she really didn't sound good in it. And I was really disappointed because I'm like, the whole point of something like this is to just showcase your raw, natural voice. Like, I believe that you can sing, but like, shouldn't you have tried a little harder for this one? Like, I get it, everyone's busy and stay at home and it's weird, so maybe you just kind of did whatever and phoned it in. But it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit because I was like, I feel like
practice, maybe
it's possible too. You know, it's also possible. Like,
I remember I was watching this interview and Ed Sheeran was on it, and he found, I guess he had a little audio clip from before he became famous where he was practicing singing, and he played it, and it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. And he's like, he's like, everyone thinks that they can be a singer. He's like, no. He's like, you have to train your voice. He's like, you have to work on your voice every single day. And he's like, if I take a break, he's like, I won't sound the same.
Dude,
and so
do you remember when
I something to do with her condition too?
That's true too, actually. I didn't even think of that. I also realized too, like, thinking Chandelier and stuff, she's known for that really strong high belt that she can do. Maybe her voice is not as suited to singing in a smaller space where she's not projected. Like, there are singers that are like that, where they have a really powerful belt, but if they can't put that much air to support their voice, the resonance doesn't come out as well. And it's not a knock against the singers, just different types of voices. You know, I'm like that. I sing much better. My voice is at its peak when I'm belting. See, Slick Rick, it's a fair thing to say. See, his face looks normal, disappointing. Learning about this Ehlers-Danlos thing, though, my assumption going back then, you know, knowing what little I know about her, is that the hiding her face was probably never about, oh, you can't see me because I'm the special thing. It probably had more to do with the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and feeling judged her whole life for looking a little different or a little something, or having just a stigma about it, and and doing that later. Oh, Doug, for sure, they fix it in the studio. Absolutely. But yeah. Anyway, to the point though. So that's sort of everything. Pretty much this discussion is everything I knew about Sia prior to this moment. For context. But what you're saying, Anna, about the singing is so right. Remember when I lost my voice a couple years ago and like couldn't talk?
Yeah.
For months, for like most of a year, my voice didn't get really back. So I couldn't sing or practice singing in my upper range. I lost that completely. I've spent the past like 6 months now rehabbing my voice because it finally got healthy enough to start singing again. I spent the past 6 months rehabbing my voice so I can hit the notes I used to hit. So like, you're 100% right. And actually, thank you for saying that, because it changed my opinion on that. Like, hey, maybe she just wasn't practicing as much then because she didn't need to. So.
Well, because when I saw her, it was at a music festival, and they had some technical difficulties, and so she's just like, hey guy, like she's like, can everyone get quiet? So everyone got as quiet as you can get at a music festival with like 6 other stages. And she's like, my like tech guys are trying to get this fixed, but you know, since it's a music festival, there's people, you know, before her and after her. So she's just like, I'm gonna just sing it without a mic
wow.
for the first song. And she's like, they said that they'd have it fixed by the time I got the song done, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting.
Aw.
So she did. She sang the first song without a microphone, which is how I know she didn't have auto-tune.
Amazing.
And it sounded good. She just didn't have like the pop or anything.
Sure. But I'll bet, I mean, that's what that kind of goes with what I was saying too, is she has a really strong belt. That's for her. Like, there are, to me also, that's the thing too, is there are more singers like a Billie Eilish who can do that really high pitched soft breathing and like or can sing soft and sweetly like that, than there are singers like a Sia who can belt at that
yeah
rate.
Like Whitney Houston too.
Exactly, those voices, and that's why people are always so impressed with those types of voices. Even Adele, you know, is very much like that. People are always so impressed with those types of voices because they're harder to do. I'm very lucky in that obviously I don't have any voice anywhere near the caliber of some of those greats, but I have the belt over the other. You know, I know there's parts of my life where it's like, oh, I wish I had a better soft voice, but that's something I can train and get better at. Is my belt is strong, and I'm like, oh, I should do something with this, because the more I'm realizing this, oh, not every singer can physically do this. Now I'm in that place of like, if I can, I should probably sing more and utilize this skill. So that's kind of where I'm at with my music. But anywho, but yeah, but that's how, like, I that's this kind of thing, like, or what she can do that I will never be able to do though, that I do have a friend that can, is something like Chandelier. That's what makes Sia impressive as a singer, is being able to belt that loud, that high, that high of a octave. Because a belt comes from a mix between your chest and your head voice. And when you go higher up, you can't mix that anymore. You actually just get to a point where you can't resonate sound that low, to hit those notes. And so you don't have that air to support it like that. So either she has an incredibly powerful head voice, or just an incredible range that she can actually mix her chest voice up that high. Either way, it's incredibly impressive. So even though I don't, only know that one song and not much else about her as an artist, even before hearing that about the auto-tune, I know she has a set of lungs on her because she can hit that note. Make sense?
Yeah.
So
all the science of how people sing. So what happened with this movie? So she's doing this movie that's inspired by this girl that she knew when she was younger, and the actor that she hired had
is the same girl from. So she ended up going with just a regularly able girl, the same girl in the Chandelier music video, actually, Maddie Ziegler, because the girl she tried to work with, who had the was similarly abled to the character, it didn't work out. So now we have wonderful things though, like Sia's film Music, it's called Music, is harmful to the autistic community and autistics' perspective. So,
of course it is.
Are you ready to find out why a movie dedicated to a differently abled person based off of a real person's abilities is harmful to the autistic community? Are you ready? Wow. So I guess this is still from the movie. I think this is a really cool looking design right here. It reminds me of like Almost Famous, or the aesthetic of like shooting band movies.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that Kate Hudson?
I think it is, actually. I think I read that.
I can't believe she shaved her head, but
right? Isn't that incredible? Although, I mean, someone like that, you have to be secure enough in your beauty to know you're gonna look gorgeous no matter what. Yep, Kate Hudson. So here we go. All right. In case you haven't heard, Australian musician Sia recently released a new trailer for her upcoming musical film Music, in which a troubled woman, Zoo, Kate Hudson, takes custody of her teenage half-sister, Music, Maddie Ziegler, who is autistic and nonverbal. Sia acts as the screenwriter, director, producer, and composer for the film, which is scheduled for a February 12 release. Upon the trailer's release, many people from the autistic community immediately responded with a mix of emotions: outrage, disappointment, apathy, and even hope. As is the case with every group of people, reactions and feelings varied from person to person, and I do not wish to give the impression that all autistic people feel a certain way about this film's choices. However, as an autistic person, I have my own thoughts about it. Shocking. At its core, the issue I and many other autistics and allies have with this film, which none of us have even seen, is that its autistic main character is played by an actor who is not on the autistic spectrum in any capacity. Ziegler is an incredibly talented, popular dancer, model, and actress.
Acting.
Yep.
It's called Eddie Roseman didn't have ALS when he played Stephen fucking Hawkins.
Nope.
Forrest Gump didn't have an IQ under 80.
Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man, which is a really important one that we're going to get to from this, because to me, that movie destroys everything that the autistic community, that the socially justice-minded autistic community is trying to say, because that's the part we'll get to as well, right? We're reading a nice measured article that someone took the time to write down about how they feel about this, but you think that was the norm? Of course fucking not. This was like Gina Carano and Gal Gadot, where Sia got torn to shreds, where she got attacked, where she got told how disgusting and harmful and terrible she was for making this movie that she poured her fucking heart and soul into making for the autistic fucking community. And it's not good enough for them because it's not what I wanted. It didn't do it the way I wanted it. So of course they weren't nice about it. They were downright vicious. They were horrible to her over this. Even though, once again, it's completely different too. Still not acceptable if she's making a movie that features a differently abled person and is like, I don't know, they have magic powers or something, or whatever it is, that it's unrealistic or stupid. But this is somebody whose intention is to make an honest portrayal of a person on the spectrum, an honest, realistic portrayal of someone on the spectrum. And you have and you're going to shit on this woman. And the disingenuousness of wanting to sit here and have the nerve to write an article this pretentious. Oh, here you go, right? There you go. I'm just going to keep reading because they're already going to tell you why they have the nerve. Why they have the nerve. They're going to tell it to us. They'll answer my question. Why do you think you have the fucking nerve to write this? So Ziegler is an incredibly talented and popular dancer, model, and actress who was only 14 years old at the time of filming Music. As such, I don't think that's true, actually. I'm pretty sure Maddie Ziegler, unless they filmed Music 4 years ago, I'm pretty sure Maddie Ziegler is 18 now. So she's 18 now. So unless they shot this movie 4 years ago, which seems weird because, like, what was Sia even doing 4 years ago? Did she even have the star power to make a movie like this 4 years ago? Like, I mean, Chandelier is from 2014. So I guess she started shooting this with Maddie in 2 years after this song came out, which seems like a really quick trajectory to go from, meeting this girl and featuring him in a couple of music videos to this, but whatever. So already you probably got your facts wrong in this bullshit article. Where are we now? Here we go. So, as such, I feel it's unfair to blame her too much for taking a great opportunity at an age when most people are just worried about passing their chemistry exam and whether Tony has a crush on Tina. Indeed, she may do an excellent job portraying the character in a tasteful, nuanced manner. Regardless of the performance quality, I'm disappointed with Sia's decision to cast a neurotypical person in a neurodivergent role.
Wait, a neurotypical person in a neurotypical role?
Neurodivergent. Apparently the language now is neurotypical or neuroatypical or neurodivergent. The immediate defense I hear to most this criticism is that it's just acting. Your job is to pretend to be people you aren't. This is true and worth consideration. Yeah, it fucking is. I don't want to presume anything about Chris Hemsworth's personal life, but I don't think he actually hails from another planet or wields Mjolnir. Yes, no fucking shit. However, when it comes to portraying characters with different backgrounds, identities, and abilities as yourself, especially backgrounds, identities, and abilities that have historically led to discrimination, that gets more complicated. No, it fucking doesn't. Is the portrayal respectful? End of story. That's it. The portrayal is what matters, not who is portraying it and what their fucking life is about. Is the portrayal respectful to your identity? Great. Shut the fuck up. End of story. End of discussion. There is nothing further to be entertained because, yes, the one smart thing you said where it's worth consideration. It's not just worth consideration. It's the end all be all. You know, like, I'm very frustrated about this because
I understand. I mean, it just blows my mind. I'm like, because what was that whole thing with Scarlett Johansson where she was going to play a trans character and the trans community was like, no, how dare she? That's taking the job away from a trans actress. I can't remember if she was going to be a trans man or a trans woman, but it's like,
trans woman, I think.
Why wouldn't you want one of the best
trans man,
like one of the best people for the job? Like, I'm not going to go hire, like, let's say hypothetically I'm the lead person at NASA and I hire everyone to be astronauts. Okay, if I'm going to hire the best aerospace engineer, I'm not going to say, because I'm Portuguese, I'm American Portuguese, half Scandinavian, half Portuguese, I'm not going to go and say, I absolutely need to find a person that's half Portuguese and half Scandinavian, and specifically Azorean Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that person might not be the best for the job. I should just go and look and say, who is the best aerospace engineer in the world? And how do I get them to work for me? Not caring about their age, their sex, their freaking identity, their sexuality. I don't fucking care. Are you the best aerospace engineer in the world? Okay, you got the fucking job.
It's exactly right. And we were, just to further your point too, and this is something that's also, by the way, been a part of movie making and filmmaking and this type of storytelling since forever, is that concept. Jeff and I were flipping through channels when we were away for the weekend, came on West Side Story and just watched through part of one of the dance sequences. Which one is it? Whichever gang Maria's part of, the Hispanic with the Puerto Rican, the Sharks.
It's the Sharks and the Jets. So she's the Sharks.
Yeah, she's in the Sharks. So yeah, so the Sharks, are all supposed to be Puerto Rican and they're all doing their big dance. One of the women in the lineup doing this dance is clearly Asian. Because they probably auditioned a whole bunch of, Broadway dancers and shit like that. And of the people they auditioned for that scene, they went, they probably put out ethnically ambiguous because they figured, she looks a little Asian. We can muddle her in with a Puerto Rican crowd, but she is the best dancer. We're looking for the top 10 best dancers of this group, and she's one of them. So we want her in this movie. It is more important to us in this moment that someone who can do the demands of the role, that's going to look the best, has the best physique to do this awesome choreographed dance in this beautiful movie, that it's going to look right. The dance is going to look right, not her fucking face.
Well, I mean, even think about Grease. You go back at that, and it's like, when I was a kid and watching it, I feel like all grown-ups, including teenagers, because to me, a teenager was a grown-up, they all look the same. Like, you don't really, look at a person and see their age, especially when, you're a kid. But so looking at it now, and it's like, oh my God, they're all supposed to be teenagers in high school, but they're all clearly at least in their 30s.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. That's oh my God. Grease is one like that. There's so many. They
found the best people for the job, and that was the point.
Exactly, because you want to make a movie about, if you want to make a maturely told story about people in high school going through real actual shit, like. The whole point of West Side Story is telling this damaging Romeo and Juliet style story in the lens of gang warfare, and cultural splits and divides. You really think a couple of teenagers are going to be able to tell that story with the same level of gravitas as, Natalie Wood? And even then, Natalie Wood's not singing in that shit, because she didn't have the voice for it. So, okay, that's what you did even then. She didn't have the best voice for it. We'll go find a better voice. Yeah. We're going to build, we don't give a shit about, it's not about Natalie Wood being featured in the Nth Degree, it's the sensibilities of the fucking plot of Singing. That's the entire plot of Singing in the Rain. The entire plot of Singing in the Rain is when we go into talkies and our beautiful, gorgeous bombshell star has a terrible voice, we'll just fucking dub her over. Because it's not about, this type of person getting to do this type of thing. It's about creating the best product. It doesn't matter how you get there.
Yep.
As long as nobody's harmed in the process. Because that's the question I want to know. You didn't cast a differently abled person in this movie. How was a differently abled person harmed in the process of you casting this movie? How was somebody harmed? Because I don't see a fucking way that this quote does harm. And this to me also, right, this person's in, I'm going to skip over some more of this article here because this next part comes in. As soon as the movie camera came into existence, straight white able men were in its focus. When women and people of color did appear, it was often in minority roles. Charactered acts like the medium's ugly racist history of blackface appeared in everything. Like, you're talking about something, like, you're so fucking stupid. You don't even understand how history works. You're talking about the history, the ugly history of racism in blackface. So you're talking about Hollywood's ugly history of racism in blackface finding its way into early Hollywood movies. There was no history of racism in movies before there were movies. So the way you're even writing about it just shows how fucking stupid you are, because you're sitting acting like there was some sort of institutionalized prejudice against black people in movies when movies hadn't even been invented yet.
Well, I think the problem with this is didn't the person writing this say that they were autistic?
Yes.
So I think, honestly, this whole entire thing is just that they, obviously they're getting, by your last point, is that they have misinformation, and I don't really think that they're understanding the concept.
You are very close. You are very, very close, because they're actually, the reason that this is happening was made very transparent by one particular person in the way that they were tweeting about it and the way some of the other people in the community have been writing about it, which we'll get to. That was a good guess. I know you love figuring things out, which is why I didn't lead with it, because I was hoping you were going to aha it. You're very, very close.
I'm
so
close.
So I know you love figuring these things out, which is why I'm going to dangle it for you. In the meantime, this is not to say that actors can't give genuine and passionate performance of characters identified differently from themselves, nor that every instance of such is out of malice for the portrayed group. But now that we live in what is supposed to be a more equitable society, there's no shortage of equally talented actors who are queer, disabled, and whatever BIPOC means. She said LGBT. I don't read those letters. I just said queer, because to me, queer is a perfectly lovely catch-all term that no longer carries the stigmas with it that it used to, and should just be a wonderful description for anyone who describes themselves in a sexual way that is different from the majority, and shouldn't have to feel like they have to identify themselves or come out to me as that. You know, if they want to let me know they're queer, great. That's cool. I don't need to know more than that. I don't need to get into this alphabet bullshit. Autistic characters haven't seen much prominence in film, even less when played by autistic actors. I wonder why that is. One of the most famous movies focusing on an autistic character is 1988's critically acclaimed Rain Man. Is in 1998's critically acclaimed Rain Man. Years make movies now, apparently. You would say, like, in so-and-so's critically acclaimed Rain Man, the producer's name, the director's name, the studio's name, fucking Tom Cruise's name would make more sense than the year. How are you writing about movies and pop culture when you don't understand how to write about movies and pop culture? But this kind of, like, not to sound mean, though, to go into the point you are making, if it's a situation, if the situation is what you're saying, where there are some people on the spectrum who are writing about this in a certain way and feel about this in a certain way, are missing and not understanding some of the nuance of certain things, how do you expect those same people to comfortably and happily, in a way that's good for their own mental health, be on set and carry out these movies in a way that you want to see? Like, you can't have both of these things. You're asking for everything. You can't have it. You need to pick.
Well, I mean, again, if this person says that they're on the spectrum, and I mean, there's been people that I've talked to for, hours and years that I never knew were autistic, because they're high functioning, and I would never know. To this day, I would not know unless they told me.
True.
And even then, I don't look at them any differently, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, and I don't see how you are. And I feel like there's autism, it's such a giant spectrum that it's, unless it's like very apparent, like somebody is not like nonverbal.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That is when it's like, okay, like
exactly.
Or like black and white.
Yeah, people who are very touch averse, or people who are very low on the verbal spectrum, so that, even if they can talk, it's all of those things. Absolutely.
So for this though, all of the complaints I'm seeing, and like even like the listing of what you're saying, like the 1998 instead of listing it the other way, I feel like maybe this person needs an editor or somebody that can clarify these things for them. And I mean, this isn't just for somebody that's autistic. I mean, this is kind of like one of the reasons why you get so close to friends and, you rely on friends, because it's like, this is this thing that I'm frustrated about. Let me vent to you. And that's why you have friends, and they have other perspectives on things. And then they can, bring that to the table.
Exactly. Whenever you're emotional about something, editorial, you should always have a proofread, because it doesn't matter whether you're on the spectrum or not. You're gonna make mistakes, and you benefit from having that proofread. And the thing is too, it's like, when you're somebody trying to make this point, running an article, running these quickly hashed together opinion pieces that haven't been well edited or well vetted, you hurt the point you're trying to make, because these articles pop up that sound uneducated, poorly researched, poorly written. And even if that's not necessarily reflective of the author in any way at all, that's to me, like, the fault doesn't necessarily go to the author for writing this piece. The fault goes to the publishers for publishing it as is without correcting certain errors, And it's like, if you want to run a piece because you actually believe in what the author's saying, you are hurting the author, and you're hurting the thing they're trying to say by letting shit like this go in its form. Because I can't take this seriously when I'm literally proofreading and correcting the grammar and the spelling of this person. I'm fucking copy editing their article as I'm reading it. So anyway, but this is the point, that this is something you come back to, right? One of the most famous movies focusing on autistic character, Rain Man, in which the neurotypical actor Dustin Hoffman plays Raymond Babbitt. Babbitt is referred to as a savant, someone who is neurodivergent and highly skilled in a specific area. Perhaps more than any other on-screen depiction of autism, this performance has had the most negative consequences for those with autism. Rain Man has seen such an overbearing, lingering presence in so many autistic people's lives, and yet we have no actual presence in it at all, writes Sarah Kerchak in I Overcame My Autism, and all I got was this lousy anxiety disorder. Autism was a whim or a creative exercise for the talent, a device for the character, and an object for the audience, and yet it has defined the way in which people perceive us and mock us ever since it came out. When was this fucking book written? Because, yes, that was very true for a very long time. And I accept that. There are two other really important truths that no one in here is fucking talking about, though, right? One, that's not the conversation about autism anymore. Since that movie has come out, we have had tons of autism awareness in society. We have had tons more understanding and research done as to the nature of it. We have the concept of the spectrum that didn't exist before. When Rain Man came out, we didn't have the spectrum. It was just autism. It was this big catch-all word that's been redefined recently as the spectrum, a bigger catch-all term to describe people who have a variety of, you want to call it neurodivergent patterns in their brain, whatever verbiage you want to use to say a variety of different disorders that manifest with vastly different symptoms in vastly different ways. So that somebody who is nonverbal and touch-averse, who you would say is just really far, on one end of the spectrum, is not actually, and this is something that's very important for my understanding to the autistic community and to the psychological community and understanding autism, is that even though you would still say they're on the spectrum, what the person who is nonverbal and touch-averse has, and what afflicts them, what makes it difficult for them to integrate into society, doesn't even look the same on a medical or biological basis as the very high-functioning, say, person that wrote this article. They don't have the same thing. It's like saying, it's as similar as saying, someone who's an amputee and someone who's paralyzed from the waist down, they're both differently abled physically. They're both disabled and can't do everything a regularly able-bodied person can do, but they're not similar. They're not related. And by that same logic, you wouldn't cast someone with his arm cut off to play a guy in a wheelchair and vice versa. You wouldn't cast. The shit that they're asking for isn't even real. What they're asking for is that. It's the same thing as if they were throwing a tantrum about exactly that. Oh, why didn't you cast somebody with why didn't you cast an amputee to play someone in a wheelchair? That's the argument they're making here. Why didn't you cast somebody? Because the character they've described is a nonverbal character, right? You've met people who are nonverbal. I've met people who are nonverbal.
My very first friend was 19 years old. I was, an infant, and she was nonverbal.
Yeah. And people like that, people who are nonverbal, in the experiences that I have had with them are wonderful people. I've had some incredible experiences with people far on the spectrum. For example, when I was in high school, one of my best friends and I, we started volunteering for a local synagogue, a local Jewish organization that paired up teenagers, regular functioning youths with younger kids who were, on the spectrum or had different kinds of disabilities. And it's called the Partner Program. And it was the two-way thing of going in and in some cases, what we did, like they had group events and stuff like that. What we did is we came in once a week for an hour, and or maybe more, and just hung out with this kid for a few hours, basically, to just give his mom. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's very, very stressed all the time because she has this very very special needs child. He was verbal, but he got lost in himself a lot. He could write very well. He wrote this really clever little short stories. This like 5-6-year-old boy, very on the spectrum, who couldn't interact with normal kids. And he would sometimes like lash out at us and try to hit us or run away from us and stuff like that. Like we had issues trying to relate to the deal with this kid because he was very, very troubled. But he wrote this great short story about a dog that ate alphabet soup. And because he ate the letters in the alphabet soup, he could talk. He learned how to speak English and he could talk. And he talked to this boy. And it was this great little adventure. I was like so touched and charmed by it. But let's say you made that movie into that story into a movie and you tried to get Adam to play that little boy. He would be so miserable. He would throw a tantrum after the second it stopped being fun. He would throw a temper tantrum and he would sit down and you couldn't get him to budge. And if you got him to do it, he would do it lackluster or half-hearted. And there's no power in the universe because of the way his mind worked. He dealt in a lot of absolutes and really emotional extremes. If he got in that place of, I don't want to do this anymore, what you guys are doing is bad, you guys aren't my friends anymore, there was not a power in the universe that was going to budge him from that attitude. And to try to coerce him into delivering some sort of acting performance on set would be fucking cruel.
Yeah.
All that to say, the type of actor they're advocating for getting cast in a movie like this does not have the same affliction that the character in the movie does. So
what do they want?
They want just any neuroatypical actor. Anybody, someone like the person who wrote this.
Does the person that wrote this have a acting career they want to pursue?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I don't know about this person specifically, but that's it, right? It's not a lack of understanding about, the nuances. It's not what it could be, though, and I think it's shitty, is it could also be, the members of the autistic community getting co-opted into the social justice movement because some white, cis, whatever asshole with no oppression points to their name realized, hey, if I can get my autistic friend crusading for their rights, I get to be an ally. I believe that shit. But no, the reality is, I don't know if I have any of those screenshots anymore, but it was so fucking transparent because one of the people shitting on Sia had this pinned to her Twitter, a tweet about, what gives, Sia? I'm an autistic actress. I was right there. I was available, ready to work on a moment's notice. Why didn't you cast me?
Is she good?
Who knows? And you know what the kicker is, and why that argument holds absolutely no weight? Guess who Sia did cast in her movie, according to Sia? That's his response is correct. Her response, or her, what she did do, according to her, is cast 13 neuroatypical, or 11, some over 10 number of neuroatypical actors, and 3 trans actors to be in the film playing characters who were not, as she put it, I didn't cast trans people to come and play drug dealers like everyone bitches about, shit like that. I cast 3 beautiful trans actors to play just regular people. I cast 11 neuroatypical actors. Oh, there's it. She cast 13, yes. So Sia has also shared that at one point she did work with an autistic actor in the film, and that the character is based completely on my neuroatypical friend. He found it too stressful being nonverbal, and I made this movie with nothing but love for him and his mother. She has also stated that she has cast 13 neuroatypical and 3 transgender people within the film, although we don't know how much prominence any of their characters have. So here's the thing, once again, who gives a fuck? Stop moving the goalpost. Stop. Because whatever neuroatypical means, it sounds like it means whatever the fuck you want on the spectrum. So she cast 13 actors on the spectrum and 3 trans people. What movies today, even the ones that want to shove progressivism down your throat, What movies today can tout that level of dedication to this bullshit identity politics diversification? Thank you, Kat. Thank you. What movie today can tout that level of effort put into pandering to these niche groups and representing them on screen? And it is not fucking enough for them because it wasn't the lead role, because the role wasn't big enough, and because they were the ones who didn't get cast. So this shit reminds me a lot of when I see fencing on TV. There's a part of me that goes, fuck, I can do that better than them. Why didn't they cast me? I'm right the fuck here not doing anything. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the part of me that goes that. The regular human part of my brain. The other part of my brain goes, I don't know, maybe it wasn't SAG, so your agent just couldn't even submit you for it because legally you can't work a non-SAG reduction. And a lot of commercials are still trying to shoot non-SAG, so it probably just wasn't even SAG. It doesn't matter if you get cast for it anyway, you get screwed out of residuals like you did when Nike did that shit to you. And also, guess what? There's a gajillion people trying to, play fencers on the movies and the screens. It just happened that breakdown didn't cross my agent's path. Or maybe I haven't been active enough in my work. I haven't been preserving my working on my skills clips enough so that maybe I did get submitted for that role and my skill clips weren't up to date. So a casting director looked at me and couldn't figure out from what I put up there how good of a fencer I am. That's the shit I'm not going to sit there and post. There's one on right now. It's the fucking Geico one. Oh, well, we have a fencing problem. And there's two people fencing at a retardedly close distance all over their lawn, and it looks like dog shit. And every time I see it, I cringe a little because it looks like dog shit. But you know what I don't do? I don't go fucking tweeting at production going, hey, Geico, it's insulting to fencers in the fencing community and all of us that have worked years and years and years to become really, really good fencers to show that level of shitty fencing. Why didn't you just cast me? Next time you should just cast me because I'm right the fuck there. Because that sounds like I'm being a whiny, spoiled fucking brat.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like. Because that's what this is not about representation. This is about a bunch of people, a bunch of neuroatypical or autistic or on the spectrum actors who are pissed off because they didn't get to play the lead in this movie. Because the thing is, most of them probably don't fucking want to go around playing autistic people. They just saw this as their cash grab, as their chance to go, oh, poor me, poor me. This is why I don't get to work. Because when the few roles come around for autistic people, they don't cast me. Guess what? Your ass is eligible for every other role. So this bullshit about there aren't enough roles for queer people. There aren't enough roles for trans people. There aren't enough roles for to say differently, neuroatypical people. Yes, there fucking are. It's called all of them. There is no rule or any practice in casting that says you can't cast a gay guy to play a straight one. Fucking Luke Evans plays straight dudes all the time. Neil Patrick Harris. There's no law in casting that says that if you are an amputee, you can't, play a movie with a person who has two perfectly functioning arms or any character.
Well, look at this. What Gary Oldman? Did you know he played a midget?
I did actually. I've heard about that fucking movie. I need to see it.
I guess I'm the only fucking person in the world that watched this damn movie because
I know someone else who did because we
were talking on the Jack Show and I blew the guys' minds when I talked about this movie.
Remind me what it's called again?
It's called Tiptoes.
Yes. Okay.
It's with Matthew McConaughey, Kate Beckinsale, Gary Oldman, Peter Dinklage.
Yes.
And it's just where Matthew McConaughey and his girlfriend find out that they're pregnant, but he's been hiding his true family from her because he's the only normal sized person in a family of midgets.
Oh my God. Yes. I remember hearing about this movie when it came out too, actually. And
I had it on VHS.
Oh my God. I vaguely, maybe not when it came up. I feel like I saw a trailer for on TV or some shit.
He literally just walked on his knees. And they just filmed it either cutting it off or just you can tell he's hobbling on his knees. And they gave
the screenshots. I've seen those screenshots.
But I don't remember people. We didn't really have too much internet back then, but I don't remember people losing their mind over that.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember this coming out. This was 2003. I was a teenager. I for sure remember this coming out. I do not remember. This was the thing that started all that thing. Though, as a kid, it was a hugely, it was the funny thing that movie came out, and that's when everyone started doing the thing where you would just stick your knees in your shoes to make yourself look like a midget because of that movie. And it was funny. And that's the thing is go talk about that movie. You can say whatever you want. And I'm not discounting the fact that there might be a little person out there who thinks it's super offensive, but Peter Dinklage is in that movie. Peter Dinklage is acting next to Gary Oldman on his fucking knees, not saying jack shit about it. So you want to get outraged, fine, but we have
I think that they thought that the movie was going to be like an Oscar bait movie, and it's going to be like, oh, these high performances, but they filmed it as if it was a comedy.
Oh my God.
It's like got a dramatic script and like dramatic, like you can tell that it was supposed to be actually kind of like The Room, where it's super dramatic.
I wonder if
it's filmed like a comedy.
I wonder if it's the kind of thing where they got the script and it was this really like dramatic, whatever script, and they were like, all right, we don't have enough like small actors that we can pull this off organically.
Oh no, they had plenty of little people in the movie.
Well, it's like maybe they didn't have they were like, we don't have the star power with the little people to like pull this off. Gotcha. So we need like for this to work, it's got to be like a star dad, a star like this and that and the other. And they're like, yeah, but there's no way we can do that without it looking retarded. So
I think they wanted to do like Forrest Gump. I think they wanted to get an A-list actor to play with disability, or because they gave Gary Oldman like a hunch and a cane.
Oh my God. Now I have to see this movie because I really want to try to figure out like
I kind of want to do a watch. We should do a watch party, but like we'll get Ethan in the Jack show because Cecil's and I'll watch it with you guys because I've seen it and I've seen it many times.
Because like even before seeing this, I now want to watch this movie trying to figure out who and at what points we're taking it seriously and who realized early on.
Everyone is taking it. I feel like except for some of the midgets.
That's what I'm saying. Because like there's got to be a couple people in certain. It's like when you watch the holiday special and you can see how hard Harrison Ford is putting it in. Like there's got to be a few people on that set where you can tell like they already know how ridiculous this is, even though everyone's treating it like this Oscar movie. Oh my God, I need to see this now.
No, it's like Kate Beckinsale and Matthew McConaughey's like performance is like, it's like, this is high art. This is my Oscar. This is like, they're going to zoom into my face and see my tear roll down.
I never knew that. I always thought just because of the way it was laughed at and mocked with like the knees and the shoes and stuff, that it was always supposed to be kind of a comedy or whatever. I never realized that it was this like super dramatic, serious fucking thing. That's so funny because it's.
I would say we should watch the trailer because it's like, look at these outstanding, like, the 90s, or I guess it was early 2000s, but when the guy with the voiceover and he's like, drama,
new world,
family, outstanding performances by Matthew.
Award-winning performances from Matthew McConaughey.
Yes, but like all dramatic zooming in, like an intense.
And introducing that little actor. Oh man. So. That I definitely need to see this. Have you ever seen Tiptoes, Jeff?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you ever seen Tiptoes?
Tiptoes.
Or Tiptoe or whatever it was. It was that movie that came out in 2013 about like Matthew McConaughey is going to get married, but he's introduces his fiance to the dark secret that he's the only.
No, he's not going to get married. They're pregnant. And so
pregnant. Oh, so the whole big deal is they're afraid that it's going to be a little baby. Right. I remember from the trailers.
That's a real movie?
Yeah, because like this whole little people, and so they're all freaked out.
Terrible.
It's apparently what Anna's telling me. Like, I remember this coming out because I remember this spawned everyone walking around on their knees with their knees tucked in their shoes to try to like do the optical illusion to make it look like you were tiny. I always thought that this was just some trash movie that was like funny and kind of stupid because of that. Apparently, what I'm hearing is it was like done like some Oscar bait, like the next
high art.
Yeah. Are you saying by little people you're using the technical term for like dwarfs and stuff?
Like Gary Oldman on his knees in this movie pretending to be a midget.
Okay, I thought you meant like Matt Damon downsized.
No.
That's why I went instantly nuts retarded because I'm like, how would a small
midget, like a midget family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that then.
But apparently they were like they played this movie for like high art, like
that's what I see that over comedy.
But he's just on his knees the whole time. It looks ridiculous.
I get that it's a terrible execution. I'm just saying I understand what they're going for.
I do too. That's what makes it hilarious. Anna are gonna do a watch party with Jack Show and Ethan. You want to do it with us?
Yeah.
We'll do a Tiptoes watch. We'll all get fucked up and talk about how ridiculous it is.
Tiptoes to the tulips.
I wonder if it's on Amazon Prime because if it is, we can do it on Twitch.
Oh yes.
Let me find, and everyone can watch it with us, and we can all watch it at the same time. Let me find out.
Oh yes. In the meantime, I'll read some of this. They're trying to shit on Sia for all this stuff. They're like, on the other hand, Sia also once again the disingenuousness, genuousness. I need to go back and see if I can find that original article my friend sent me about this, where it's super messed up because oh my God, she was the one who brought it to my attention. I don't know if you get this too, but like I get friends all the time.
It's on Prime. It's on Prime. We can watch it.
Yes! Oh my God, yes. I get friends all the time who are like, hey, you should make a video about this. And usually it's like, this is not really what I make videos about. She gave me this one, and I was like, oh, fuck, you are so right. So I just trying to see, though, where... Here we go. Okay, here it is. Here it is. I think I'll find the exact tweet. So it's another one just shitting on her and whatnot and blah blah blah. I know the language and this and that. And once again, oh, so this is the shit. So even worse, when autistic actor Helen, oh, there it is. That's what it was. Helen or whatever it was. This was her tweet, right? Several autistic actors, myself included, responded to these tweets. We all said that we could have acted in it on short notice. These excuses are just that, excuses. The fact of the matter is zero effort was made to include anyone who's actually autistic. Sia replied, tagging autistic actors, quote, maybe you're just a bad actor. Good for you, Sia. Fucking tell them. I don't give a shit if you're autistic. If you suck at acting, you suck at acting. And I don't have to sugarcoat that shit. If you want to come and be a part of this industry and you want to be treated like everyone else in this industry, I don't have to sugarcoat that shit for you. If you're bad at it, you're bad at it. You are just as likely to be bad at acting as any regularly neurotypical person is. You are not.
Are they mad that there aren't like more... I don't know, it's like playing sports. If you're not good, you're not going to make it to the major leagues, you know?
Exactly. Well, why didn't you pick me for the team? I have a third arm. Because your third arm doesn't mean anything about how good you are playing fucking soccer. You give me that third arm. You want to give me a third arm in football now, we'll talk. But don't fucking show up. Oh, I got a third arm. Put me on the team, coach. Sorry, the fact that you're autistic does not make you any more qualified to play this role than a regular person, because the character being portrayed does not have what you have. You are just being selfish, entitled, and spoiled because you can't fucking make it on your own merit. So like I said, there aren't enough roles for autistic people. All of them are for you. I'm here ready to work at a moment's notice. Great. Are you going to turn down a role?
That's probably not a good thing if you're ready to work at a moment's notice.
Because it means you ain't doing shit with the rest of your life. Exactly. Sorry, good actors that go in movies that end up on theaters are not ready to work at a moment's notice because most of them are already working. You know, the few of us that aren't are waiting to get lucky with that. But not waiting. Things that say you're waiting to get lucky and get your break. That's the mistake. These assholes are sitting there actually sitting around waiting to get lucky. The rest of us, I'm not just sitting around waiting to drop anything on a moment's notice to be in a movie. Yeah, I could, but I'm fucking busy. I'm doing other shit. I'm not just sitting around twiddling my thumbs, starting Twitter fights, waiting for someone to notice me and feel bad that I've been oppressed all my life and put me in their movie as a result.
Well, it's like right now, even just for me, like the holidays are coming around now. Everybody wants Christmas presents and people have been messaging me every single day asking for commissions. And I'm like, I don't have time. I got work. I have actual work. And I know it's like people see it as, oh, you're just drawing a picture. And I'm like, okay, that's like how many hours of my life? You know, this painting that I've been working on currently, it's been over 100 hours of my life and I'm not finished yet. It's like these things take times. You can't, I can't paint the Sistine Chapel for you in an afternoon. And so, like, you want this, like, a Christmas commission. And, I mean, it's not, some people are very understanding, others not so much. But it's like, you waited until December to ask an artist to do something for
Christmas. I used to feel like that when I used to crochet. I get into doing like scarves and hats for people, and then all of a sudden I just pull out the crochet stuff when it got cold, around November and shit. All of a sudden, oh, can you make me a scarf? Can you make me a hat? Can you make me this? Can you make me that? And all of a sudden, I'm trying to keep up with that shit. I have to abandon it all halfway through December because I give myself carpal tunnel from crocheting so much.
Well, I mean, there's this one person that, I mean, I honestly don't think they know anything about my YouTube channel. I think they just found me on Instagram, but they want a portrait of their fiance for Christmas, but they want it of them from their engagement photos, but just her, but wearing her veil for their wedding, and they want, like, I'm not kidding you, Jesse. They want a 3-foot painting.
Wow.
And I'm just like, it's because they want it so that way when they do, they want it for their house, but they also want to use it in their wedding. But he wants to give it to her on Christmas, and so I'm like, a 3 feet by 2 feet painting.
I'd be like, I'll have that ready for you for next Christmas, maybe, maybe.
Well, and then it's like, for like, that's what they want. But, and I'm like, okay, you want, and also you want me to ship it to you. So thinking about a 3-foot by 2-foot painting, and you want shipping included in the overall cost, and you want it done in what, like a week and a half, and you don't want to pay the actual price that would be.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
I'm on board up until the bitching about the price. Like, if you want to reach out to someone and be like, hey, I will pay whatever it costs to have you do this and ship this on short notice. That lack of it, like, you're not a fucking computer. You don't just push buttons and print this shit out. Like, that, I had that shit. I'm so over human entitlement right now. Like, human entitlement is a huge pet peeve for me right now. I was at the vet the other day. Now, my vet they are all wizards. They're all heroes. In fact, I just got to figure that out today. I'm going to find some like really nice gift basket I want to get and just drop off for them, because these people bust their asses. They've got tons of, vets and nurses and techs, and people just staffing the phones and doing appointments, and they're busy in a normal year. Apparently, a lot of the vets and clinics in this area have shut down due to COVID issues and stuff. Some of them just haven't been able to figure out operating safely with COVID, and so haven't been open most of this year. And these guys, their policy is they don't turn anyone away. They will try to fit you in. And so they've, hired more staff and expanded and done their best, but they only have so many doctors, and there's only so many hours in the day. So if I have to call them, I'm prepared to wait for up to 15 minutes or more, on the phone. Whenever I go there, I know, like, it might be half an hour after I sign on the paper before someone even calls my name. And I get that, because I see how hard they're working. I see how unfailingly polite and courteous they are to people. And I see how people are to them too, which is really not understanding and really shitty. Some guy came in there to pick up his dog. He signed up on the sign-up thing. And then he's waiting around. They're going through the list, and then starts getting shitty to someone. I'm just here to pick up. Why isn't my dog ready yet? Why haven't you guys gotten this? This should be better. You guys should be better at this. He's trying to explain to them how they're doing it wrong and how they need to do it right. He's like, well, you need a separate staff dedicated just to doing the pickups then, because people need to be able to come in and pick up their dogs that quickly. And I jumped in finally. And I was like, you want to do that for them? I'm sorry, you want to hire the extra staff that's going to handle all of the drop-offs? Because that sounds like you want more work for them to make your life easier. You want to do that shit. You go the fuck back there and start handling drop-offs, because I'm watching the way these guys bust their ass for me. I'm not going to sit here and get all shitty because I think that my needs are more important than literally everyone else's. You are picking up your fucking dog. There are people coming in here with animals clinging to life who need emergency care. You can fucking wait, sir. Nothing is that. And plus, it's not like he's some important business guy on his lunch break who needs to get back. He's some kid, probably my age or a little younger, wearing sweats with some hangdog look, probably sits at a computer all day, wanting to sit here and going, oh, well, at my work, this is how we would do it. And I'm like, shut the fuck. I'm 5 seconds from punching your ass, and I don't even work here. But it's that. Like, we're coming in that time of year about gratitude and peace and giving. Everybody, take a second and just get over yourselves. This is not to the mindless mob, right? Because you guys are mostly pretty chill. But, like, remind the people in your lives. Like, you're not the only one who had a 2020. We all did. You're not the only one who is scrambling this holiday season, trying to figure out if and when you can see your loved ones and if you can afford gifts and shit like that. We're all there. So take 5 seconds out of your day and remember, you ain't special. And I mean that in the sense of your needs don't supersede anyone else's. You don't get to push your shit to the front of the line just because you think you're special. And everyone else is going through the same shit. And there's a comfort and camaraderie in that if you just take a second to realize you are part of a big group, a big community, a big family of people that extends as big as you allow it to make, because we're all humans. We all want the same shit. Also, hey, LaRock, I just saw that you bounced in here. Haven't seen you on a stream in a minute, so it's always good to see you. Hope you're good in the land down under. And hope that Saz is doing well as well. Those are the two I went to their wedding in Australia. They're awesome. They came out here. They were out here. Rocky does marathons. He did the Disney runs, I believe, in January when they were here. But anywhoozle, I want to hit a couple of these super chats and then dive in a little more on the Sia stuff, because There's one more layer that is so hilarious to me.
There's more.
But wait, there's more. This was a sort of a side note one. To me though, back to everything I just said about gratitude and giving thanks and shit like that. These people don't understand how to do that. And that is why they will always be broken, why they will always be stunted, and why they'll always be miserable. And I will demonstrate that to you after we catch up with these super chats, because it's very easy to do. But Laroic, there you go. Laroic sent a very generous super chat. Says, Pancake, feel better soon. Oh, thank you. Hang in there, Jesse. I survived 2020 merch ideas. Good call. Jeff and I already have our 2020 is the worst Jean Ralphio shirts a la Parks and Rec. And Pancake is doing much better. His cone is off. He's got more meds in his ear, and the swelling is slowly going down. Lid's still a little elevated, but we're hoping he's gonna do great. Anna, any ideas? Any quick ideas for an I Survived 2020 shirt or merchandise? What that would look like?
It depends on the person, but I feel like if you did like zombie apocalypse or something like, but with gas masks,
I feel like you could do a whole series of them and just like pick your event, like do a one, do an election one, do a protest one. Like you could do a whole series and they all just say, I survived.
I would want to do one. I absolutely loved when they were having the protest and Batman was walking around and the dude like had like the full on like bat costume. Was that in
Ooh, you just gave me a great idea for an
was that in Detroit or Chicago? I can't remember, but like the dude, like, do you remember that? He was literally just walking around as Batman and everyone's like, nobody fucked with him. All the protesters were just like, yo, it's Batman.
Everyone's bored. Everyone's on board with Batman. Everyone's always on board with Batman. That would be a great I Survived 2020 series of shirts, though, is just showing a bunch of superheroes all like in their costumes, but like in their lairs, like fat with donuts in their hands and shit, giving you a thumbs up. Like I survived 2020 because I just fucking stayed in and didn't do anything. That would be great. I would love that. Batman with his like legs up on a chair, stuffing his face with donuts. Like I survived 2020. I just didn't go out. I let crime deal with itself. I would buy one of those. Shadow War Chat. Let me, great one. To the topic we were just on, says, oh, did I read the heroic one? I think I did. Oh, yeah, the 2020 is the worst one. Shadow War Child says, does moving the goalpost have an infinity aspect? If so, we're screwed. Yes.
It 100% does.
It absolutely.
Not just with shit like this. Like, you prove them wrong, they immediately move the goalpost. And it doesn't matter how many times you prove your point to them and you point, like, you say, well, like this. Oh, why didn't you hire an autistic person? It's like, well, the person that I wanted, they weren't up to it. And, they weren't the right fit and it was too much stress on them. So I went with somebody else and they were okay with that. And I hired other people. They're like, well, why didn't you hire me? And it's like, see, you gave them an answer. They immediately change it.
Exactly. Because
that's how people are.
It's the conversation. Why don't you have more autistic representation in film? Okay, I wrote this wonderful movie about a differently abled person. Why isn't she played by a differently abled person? Because it didn't work out. But I put 13 differently abled people in my movie. Well, that's not good enough. Why? Because the one person I wanted to be differently abled wasn't. Oh, so you're telling me that it would be better off that this movie is better served by casting and giving work to only one differently abled person so that you can be a starring role in this movie that tells a great story about this actor, but now I have to compromise the telling of the story so your ass can play this role. Meanwhile, if we do it my way, 13 neuroatypical actors get work, 3 trans actors get work, and I tell a brilliant story about autistic people, right? So here's that next layer. Actually, there's two other layers. There's the tangential fun side one. I forgot. There actually is the next layer of fuckery that goes in with this. Because the shit, they want to be disingenuous in this article we're reading, all right? And this person wants to sit here and act like, oh, everybody in the autistic community was so kind and understanding to Sia. Look at her being this bitch, typing things like immaturely saying, grr, fuckity fuck, why don't you watch my film before you judge it, Fury? That seems like a really reasonable thing, a really organic, from the heart thing that an artist is going to say when their pet project that they believe in gets shat upon for no fucking reason. So that's, once again, no understanding of the audition process. If they had auditioned and been turned down, perhaps you could argue that they were bad actors, although it's still been needlessly cruel. As it is, it's a petty attack on someone already hurt over this decision. Not cool. Oh, wow! I'm so excited that we live in a world where we suddenly get to hold filmmakers accountable for the feelings of the actors that don't make it into their fucking movies. Well, guess what? I auditioned for the Amazon TV series that they're doing of what's the fucking movie, the baseball movie, A League of Their Own. They're making a live action TV show of A League of Their Own, and I auditioned, and I didn't get the role. So I want an apology from the filmmakers because you didn't care about my feelings. My feelings got hurt. I'm a person too. I'm special. I'm female. I'm Jewish. I'm probably not 100% completely straight if you dig into my psyche and want to root out some, I don't know, time I wore boys' clothes like my entire childhood. There you go. I'm gender fluid. Perfect. There, as far as Hollywood's concerned, I am a gender non-binary Jewish woman. And so why weren't my needs considered when I was being cast for a series regular role? Because that would have been a really important thing for my life. That had a big breakthrough. And you know what? Jewish people are really underrepresented in film, and it's really, really sad. And I would be a great opportunity because that was the role that was played by Lori Petty, who was a very butch look. But you know what? I get to be gender non-binary for you and be all this magical things for your movie. So why didn't you cast me? You don't know how hard it has been to be me, to be a tomboy my whole life, and have the world not accept the fact that I'm not a girly girl. You don't know my experience. How dare you not cast me in this movie?
Excuse you, don't you know that tomboy is an offensive term now?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's apparently not allowed to say that, which is so stupid. By the way, Ronald Gonzalez wins for the I Survived 2020. I survived 2020 and all I got was the stupid virus.
Aw.
That's got it. That should be a shirt. Jeff, did you hear that one? Jeff. Wow, he's keyed in.
What's up?
We were trying to think of I Survived 2020 shirt ideas. I Survived 2020. So
I heard your Batman one. I don't think there's one better than that.
I Survived 2020 and all I got was a stupid virus. That was Ronald Gonzalez. I'm giving it to Roland Gonzalez. I'm giving it to him on that because that's the winner.
It's a good one.
That's the winner for me. Roland, can I make this shirt? Will you allow me to make this shirt? Also, like, straight up, you came up with the idea, Roland. If you want to email me.mindlessentertainment@gmail.com, and you are like, this is my idea, give me royalties, that's fine. I don't care. If you want royalties or a percentage because it's your idea, I'm totally fine with that. But here's the Mindless Entertainment email, Roland. So shoot me an email. Let me know if you're cool with me making it into a shirt and if you want to cut, because I never want to screw people out of there. I never want to take anyone's ideas, but come on, this one's too good not to take and run with it. So, and you can do a text-based one you can have ready in 5 minutes.
That's one way to get people to stay away from you at the grocery store, though.
Ha! Yes! I love it. So yeah.
Do you have any more super chats?
We don't right now, I don't think. Let me just check real quick. I'm just taking a picture of the so I don't forget it later because it's too good. Okay. So, maybe what we just did. All right. I'm going to axe this article for right now because I'm sick of looking at it, but we can always bring up more of that if we need to. Where did that just go? There was a $2 one just a minute ago. Here we go. From Hyvern's Test says, can I get a motivational quote from y'all, please? Are you looking to like include this in something, or do you just need some personal motivation? Because those are different asks, but and do you want an original one, or do you want one pulled from like generic?
Well, my entire Instagram is full of inspirational quotes on my story now, so I'll pull one up.
One of my
this is the first one that I have on my story. Before you assume, learn the facts. Before you judge, understand why. Before you hurt someone, feel. Before you speak, think.
That's a good one. I like that one. One of my personal favorites is if not me, who? If not now, when? That's always
you were given this life because you were strong enough to live it.
Love it. And we actually had to do that as a project when I was in middle school. We had to like make up our own and like make our own, motivational poster basically. And then we put them all up around the ceiling of around the top wall of the classroom. as like a border all year long. It was so cool because every time you looked up, you just got to see, you know, everyone's art and a little bit of motivation. Mine, I think, was don't be put off by rainy days. The clouds may be gray, but behind them the sky is still blue. Because I love metaphors, apparently. And also still loved metaphors when I was 13.
I mean, I feel like this one is like one of the best ones, but it's I know it's cheesy and it's from a movie, but never give up and never surrender.
Never surrender. Well, one of my favorite ones ever, and it's the very first one that went on my current version of my quote wall, is never tell me the odds.
Yeah.
This
is where the fun begins.
Ah, that's a good one.
That's my favorite line in Star Wars.
It's a great line.
And it's like, it was in every single movie. Somebody said it in every single movie, and it was so great.
That's true. Which is your favorite?
What?
Which is your favorite? Which is your favorite delivery?
I know.
It's
a tie between. Shit, because when Luke says it's great. I loved it when Han says it.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
I remember in the theater with my dad seeing Revenge of the Sith, and when Anakin says it in the beginning of the movie, I was like, "Yay!"
I was
so pumped.
And was it Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones that says it?
I think so.
I think Obi-Wan gets his in Attack of the Clones because I really like Obi-Wan's in the prequels. I'm trying to remember the exact moment. I can hear his voice though doing it. I like his probably second, but Anakin's is really, really good too. Because it's just that fun. Like that was probably, those were the moments where Hayden Christensen felt like he belonged in Star Wars. Was like not so much the really dramatic or the Padme ones and the teen angst and whatnot, but when he was like having fun, you know, with Obi-Wan or fighting in the big action sequences, even the really big rage, the rage out with the Sand people. I think for just like the delicate, lovey emotions, just wasn't his forte. And I'm sure the directing played a huge role. But like some of those moments in like even in Attack of the Clones, that whole opening sequence where, you know, they bust out the window and flying around in the star. I hate when he does that. I mean, like, it's funny, it's silly, it's campy, it's to me though, it's Lucas. Those were the places where he got it right, what he was trying to do with the prequels, where it's still like, oh, he was like geared towards kids. Those are the moments like that felt like the old ones with the shooting on the asteroids, a lot of Woody Banner back and forth and fun, intense action and leaning into the relationship between these characters to make the scene fun. You know, to me, the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan in 2 and 3 is where they got that really right, and that strain like felt very organic too, and how that built into 3 of him, you know, sort of as the kid feeling frustrated by the father figure holding him back. Those were the parts of the prequels that I thought they did the best, was that relationship. Agree, disagree, off bitch slapping people on Twitter?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm kind of biased because I do like the prequels a lot, and I don't mind some. I think it's because when I watched it, I didn't mind going back and watching some of the dialogue. I'm like, oh Jesus, but I don't know, like, yeah.
And I do, like, honestly, I will hold to my unpopular opinions until the end of days. Revenge of the Sith, I acknowledge, is the movie that was made the most like the originals, but it's also my least favorite of the prequels, and I understand why that is. I know exactly why that is, and I'm very realistic about it. I was 8 when The Phantom Menace came out. I did not have a discerning mind enough at that point to, you know, I was at that point, I was someone, you're going to put Star Wars in front of me and tell me it's Star Wars, I'm going to like it no matter what, probably. By 11, you know, I'm a little bit more hyped to the fact that this is not as good as the old stuff, but I'm also hitting puberty, and Hayden Christensen was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then by a couple years after that, I'm finally old enough and mature enough, and I've started actually, you know, looking at film a little more intensely with a little deeper passion, and realizing, oh God, this is not what I love about the original Star Wars. This is really not as good and whatnot. Having those personal connections to the first two. But Revenge of the Sith was the only one that I went to see in theaters without that kind of rose-colored childish optimism. So it just never resonated for me on that deeper level. Like if I was your age when it came out, I probably still would have been just young enough that I would have had the same feeling about all three of them, you know. But I had just, you know, just grown up enough to realize that these weren't as good as the old ones. And because it was the first one where those glasses came up, I just couldn't appreciate it the way everyone else could. It makes me sad.
Well, see, I'm the same way. It's like, ooh, Hayden Christensen is so cute.
Yeah.
And you know, he's Anakin Skywalker. He's gonna become Darth Vader, even though it's like, yeah, he's gonna become a bad guy. But it's like, ooh, it's Anakin Skywalker. He's so cute. Yep. And then the thing that took me out of the movie with Revenge of the Sith is Padme, because I loved Padme. I was like, this chick is a fucking queen when she's 14 years old. She's bossing around Jedi. She's running a planet. She's seizing a castle. And then the second one, she's a senator. And yeah, she's like, yo, boy, you're like super cute. But, well, she first goes from like, oh, like you're all grown up. Like, ooh, last time I saw you, you're a little boy. Now you're a man and you're all cute and you're, you know, but she's still like a senator and she's got shit she's got to do and she cares and she's like this powerful, unstoppable force. Also, and then in the third one, she was crying and pregnant. I was like, what the? And her belly was not big enough.
No, for twins, no, not until
her belly is also bigger in the beginning of the movie than it is.
It's like in the beginning in that first scene where they're like sneaking off in the, you know, and she looks huge, and then like when she's actually having kids, it's like, did you shrink? Like, did you lose some weight? That's not how it's supposed to be. I know.
I'm like, okay, for one baby, like I was a tiny baby. I only weighed like 6 pounds when I was a baby. My mom was fucking huge. She popped out not one, but 2 gigantic fucking babies. And I'm like, why is her stomach so small?
Yeah. Madoween says, hey, just remember, like a snowflake, you're different, just like everyone else. Thank you, Madoween. That actually reminds me of some fencing coach wisdom that I was told as a angsty teenager myself that stayed with me because it's smart. Where he told me the same thing on some particular day where I was having one of those, you know, no one understands me moments. Now that my fencing coach is a very special person to me because he was, you know, one of the only adults in my life who wasn't a parent who would actually listen to me. The other one had been my guitar teacher years before, who had moved away at this point, which is cool because we're actually friends now. We reconnected in LA and we're friends now. And he's amazing. And so what this coach told me at a time that I needed to hear something, and he was like my Yoda, where like he was the person I went to when I was having some shit going on or whatnot or this or that, and like instead of he was the like fucking wizard trope in every hero's journey, where like instead of just telling me what I wanted to hear, he gave me some esoteric bullshit that meant nothing in the moment but ended up resonating a lot more down the line. So on this particular day, he told me, you are a snowflake. Like, just like a snowflake, every snowflake is different, individual, unique. People are just like snowflakes. We're different, individual, unique, and special in every way, but every snowflake falls and every snowflake melts. And I was like, that just sounds like retarded Hallmark store wisdom. And then I ruminated on it more, and like now that I'm bringing, and it's coming back full circle, it's everything I've been talking about the past, a couple months really, has been the theme I keep coming back to when you look around the world and you see the division and you see the anger and you see the hatred, right? Is what that phrase means. Yeah, we're all different. And instead of sitting here fighting about our differences and whether snowflakes look better when they have more points or fewer points or are more rounded or are more, perforated or not, the thing you got to remember is that all snowflakes fall and all snowflakes melt. Doesn't matter what you look like, what makes you special, all your special little uniquenesses and intricacies and delicacies and this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, you fall and you melt. There are some universal human experiences, some universal human needs and desires that are unshakable. And no amount of SJW bullshit changes those.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thing is, be a snowflake if you want to be. Be as snowflakey as you want to. But don't forget, everyone else is just like you. You're not fucking special, And it's like, it's the dichotomy. Some people need to hear that they're special. Some people are. We all are, really,
well, I think the fact is that people don't really understand. It doesn't necessarily mean you're special, but it's like everyone is different, and that's a good thing. And every single person in this world knows something you don't.
Exactly. Well, you know what, Sardonic Sunshine? If he's calling me a snowflake, then I accept. I know you're kidding. Also,
Somebody's calling you a snowflake?
Oh, no, Sardonic Sunshine said maybe he was just calling you a snowflake, and then he said, I kid. But, maybe I really like that username, though, Sardonic Sunshine. I feels that. Greg Kirby says, hi, Anna Jesse. Never give up, never surrender. Thank you, Greg.
Hi.
We won't. And then I am Void. Thank you for the super chat. Says, thank you for this, Heart. I needed some motivation because I've been dropping multiple projects recently because of how the social landscape is. Twitter is an example of this change. I don't blame you. I am Void. So I'm glad we could help you out a little bit with a little bit of that motivation. Trust me, I hear you. But if you ever need that motivation, come on over here. We're full of it. We're all about our projects and our creativity and our positivity. That's the thing. That's something you're going to see more and more from my channel, right? The yelling and screaming will all be there. But criticism with good stuff, negativity with positivity. I'm not going to shit on people anymore without reminding you that the end goal is that we all put our differences aside and get along. Because I'm guilty of that as much as anyone else is losing that most important message, getting caught up in the minutia of everything else, this video, making sure, people understand how dangerous SJWs are, because they're very dangerous to our society and to happy, healthy ways of life for humanity. We talked about this on another.
We're getting into it's almost like an inquisition. Like, go back and look at the Spanish Inquisition. If you didn't believe the thing that they wanted you to believe, and you were a heretic in their eyes, they would burn you, they would murder you, they would torture you if you didn't do the thing that they want and said was okay. And that thing that they wanted and said was okay changed, every other week.
Exactly.
And that's where we're at. If you say the wrong thing, you're canceled. We're going to ruin your entire life because they can't physically. Well, I mean, they can bully you until you commit suicide, but it's not looked upon as, or it's not socially acceptable to go and beat the shit out of someone anymore. But I feel like that's what they'll do. They'll send the mob to your house, like that one. I don't want to give the example because that would get into a political debate, but it's like the Spanish Inquisition, but on Twitter with social justice warriors.
Exactly. You're so right. And that brings me back around to see American Myth. I'm gonna pull your super chat down for just a little bit because it's a big question that's gonna take us into a different direction for probably the last little bits of the show. So I haven't forgotten it. I'm not skipping an American Myth. I'm just gonna hold it until we wrap this because I want to give it. I want to give it.
There was a new Mando episode, or is this just the Ahsoka one that they're talking about?
The Ahsoka one, I think.
So I was going to say, don't they come out on Thursday or Friday?
Friday, Thursday midnight or whatever. Laroic says, hi, Anna, keep doing art and keep telling stories of ridiculous commission requests. I love those. You seem like an awesome human.
Yeah, thank you.
That would kind of be a fun series. Like if you kept it completely anonymously and just made it's BuzzFeed does it all the time. The most ridiculous Bridezilla stories. Publications do that all the time. It'd be really fun to do a series of the most ridiculous things fans have asked you to do. And then,
someone asked me to do a painting of myself, but only have my feet. They wanted a painting of this is how they phrase it. They said, I want a painting of you, but just with your feet. And I was like, do you mean you want me to paint it with my feet, or do you just want a painting of my feet? And they said both.
Here's the reason. The second reason why you should definitely make a series on this is, one, not only would everyone watch it because it would be hilarious, but two, think about it. If you're just telling these stories anonymously, the people who made these ridiculous requests can't bitch about you publicly about them without doxing themselves, basically, as the one who made the request. And then other people are going to maybe think about whether or not their request sounds reasonable before they ask you in the future, because they're not going to end up on your, asshole fans video series. So it could have some unintended consequences to sort of, cull the herd of people. Because the thing is, the regular people, but there'll be a bunch of
I don't think these people, some of them are, subscribed to the channel and stuff, but the one with the wedding portrait thingamajig, I don't like that person just liked my paintings.
Oh yeah. Oh, so some of those people aren't, so you don't have to worry because some of those people aren't even gonna, even see the videos anyway.
Yeah,
but
they just wanted to find a fine artist to do that.
Yeah. But the ones that do though, those ones will be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't bug Anna for all these commissions all the time about things that she probably doesn't have time to do. Like it might have the unintended side effect of reminding people how busy you are all the time, But Leroic, you are correct in your assumption that she is in fact an awesome human. Also, Maddie says new channel idea, mindless motivation. That'd be the easiest thing in the world for me. If you guys want like a Monday motivational video, like every Monday, I just give you 5 minutes of screaming about how to get your shit together for this week, and just get out and do it. I'll do it. Drop a 1 in the chat. 1 in the chat if you'd like a video like that. RJ Palmer, you don't seem to understand how this works. This isn't about having conversations. I hate you. You suck. You're not the only person who can run around social media being an asshole to people. So you don't have the monopoly on that. Go away. There's no conversation to be had. And the Leviathan says some cash for tiny SP. Oh, thank you, Leviathan. Little SP is he right here? He is. He's napping next to me with his brother. These two, or actually, no, he's not. That's Lando here. Holy shit, he's just so small looking. There's SP. He's like, I'm right here.
Is he going to make a full recovery?
From this operation, yeah, he will. The only question, and why I'm still very aggressively raising money is where I'm still paying for that operation. But if the polyp grows back, it means they're going to have to do a more invasive one to get the whole root out, so it doesn't happen again. So. He's making a full. He is definitely on track to make a full recovery from this operation, which we're thrilled about. He just went in to the vet again. It's still gunky in there, but that's to be expected. But the vet was able to flush it out and put an antibiotic paste in, which is great because that means I don't have to put drops in, and he hates the drops. And then he's on a prednisone to try to knock out the inflammation that's still going on in his face a little bit, because that one eye is still a little swollen and that little inner lid is still lifted up a little ways. So, but, is on track. He's good. He's not fussing at the ear. So he will be, he's back to normal already in his behavior. And then all the residual crap will clear out for him as well. So that's good. We're very happy about that. Leviathan says some cash time for SP. Also, all love for our beloved Queen Anna. Never give up, never surrender. # Galaxy Quest. Yub nub with the lovey faces. So, of course, Leviathan, Anna's number one Ewok, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love him. And another one. So we got a few ones. So there's definitely a little bit of interest in some violent motivational videos. It seems like they're smattering in here. So definitely. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe it'll be just like a series for fun where it's like Jesse yells at you to do stuff. So it's like,
oh my God, I have to send you this. There's this person that we check into from time to time on the Jack show. And it's the snake juice guy. And he just yells at people. It's like a diet theme channel, right? And he just yells at people that they're fat. And he's like, you got to call this number. But it's this weird number because we tried to call in because we want to get him on the show. But he wants you to buy his snake juice. And it's this magic snake juice that will make you skinny.
And he yells at you to buy it. Okay, I want to do something like that. But I just want to do, I'll just turn on the camera and just be like, clean your fucking room today. You need to clean up your house so bad. Just scream about every Monday. It's like, okay, what's Jesse going to motivate you to do this week? And I'm like, all right, find out. And then maybe you can show it to your kids if they need motivation too. Like, why not? That sounds like fun. Sounds like people want it. So.
What's his face? People that everyone are obsessed with now from Holes. What's his name? Transformers, Holes, even Steven. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly my concept. It would be the just do it videos, but with my weird asshole humor in it, just screaming at you to do very specific things. It would be actually that's Swell Guitars. It sounds more like snake oil to me. Greg Kirby says, Anna, an idea, put paint on feet and step on canvas. There you go. Painting of your feet.
I know that'd be the easiest thing ever. But then
That'd be so funny. You should do that to that person. You should just do that and send that to them. Be like, here, it's a painting of my feet. Oh, how fun would that be? All right.
That's like, I don't get the whole feet thing. Like, okay, if you're gonna, I understand Quentin Tarantino's got his like foot fetish, and so that's why like emphasis on it in every single film, but he does it in an artistic way, and he makes fun of himself in a way by doing that. But like, I couldn't even understand like being ballsy enough to email someone and say, hey, I want like just a photo of or I want you to paint me a picture of your feet with your feet.
Oh, what?
I don't get it. I really don't.
Wait, please, wait. Do you still have this message? Please tell him that you won't do it, but you have a friend who will. I will paint somebody a picture of, fuck it. And if you send me a picture of your feet, I will paint anyone who wants it a picture of your feet using my feet. And I will take a video of myself doing it. You're not going to want the picture, but I will fucking do that because that's hilarious to me. All you foot people out there, if you want to see me do weird shit with my feet, I'm right here. They're not bad looking. I'll put up some pictures. Tell me if you want them. I mean,
mine are webbed, but that's still like just I don't get it. I mean, you have
I don't get it either at all. But that was something. This was something I realized because it's funny. This is actually like a conversation Jessie has had with herself, which was like moving out here. You heard stories about some people like that where like they would get a job to just go to someone's house and take off their shoes, and the person would pay them like $1,000 to massage their feet. They had to do was sit there and get their feet rubbed. And I'm just like,
go get a pedicure.
Well, the whole thing about that for me, I'm like, I'm not into feet stuff, but if I don't have to do anything, the thing is, if I have no problem, let's say, squishing grapes with my toes, right? That feels fun for me. I like squishing stuff with my feet. I want to splash in puddles. I want to smush stuff, with my feet. I'll stick them in finger paint. I don't care, If someone else watches that shit and gets off on it and wants to pay me to do weird shit with my feet so that they can watch the video or look at the pictures and do shit that I don't want to hear about, as long as they don't need to tell me about it, as long as like part of their kink isn't like explaining to me the shit they think about, I don't care. I take a leave out of Jeff's book. They're not into kink shaming. You want to pay me money to do weird shit with my feet that doesn't make me uncomfortable? I am letting you know, feet people. You got the email address. I will paint pictures with my feet. I will take pictures of my feet. I will pet cats with my feet. I will walk through grass with my feet. I will walk through chocolate pudding with my feet. I don't fucking care.
That's a thing?
I don't know. I am just saying things that I will do with my feet that are not gross.
I don't know. Because my biggest thing, it's like...
Apparently, Leroic says feet only fans are rolling in the dough. I should look into this.
That's a thing?
I can make a feet only fans that doesn't even have my name attached to it. No one even know it's my feet.
Oh my God.
I am void is so against this. Don't worry, guys. Look, I promise you, I do not have a foot fetish. There is no chance that feet are suddenly going to be all over my channel or anything like that. What I'm saying is that if you want a commission, if you want to pay me to like send you weird pictures of my feet or videos of my feet doing weird stuff, I don't care. You will sign an NDA. You will sign an NDA proclaiming that under penalty of, huge lawsuits and shit, that you will not tell anybody these are my feet. And if you do that, I will sue the shit out of you and take all of your money. But I will let you pay me for retarded pictures of my feet. Disney Senior, how did we get on this topic? Oh, because someone wanted Anna to paint a picture of her feet using her feet to paint the picture.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I don't care what your fetish is. And that goes for anything. Fuck feet. If y'all out there, if you have a weird fetish that's something that's not sexual for most people, it's like something that's just really pedestrian, but you get off on like, I don't know, the sound of bottles opening. Let me know. I am happy. I don't care if it sounds like I'm prostituting myself right now. I am happy to help you realize your fetish as long as it doesn't involve me getting naked or doing anything sexual. Done. So Greg Kirby, you're kind of SOL on that one, unless you want to pay me a lot of money for pictures of them in a bra or a shirt.
It's like, the thing with that, I'm like, is it really that hard to find? I mean, it's a quick Google search away.
Yeah.
I like the people that will pay for that kind of stuff. I'm like, you do realize, like, you can just go look up feet on Google. Like, just type in women's feet on Google, and you can find infinite amount of photos of that, and it's 100% free. Or
Sure.
go to the beach. I don't know.
I would guess my assumption is that people with body part I can't speak body fart fetishes. My assumption is that people with body part fetishes, it's not just like it's the body part, but for some people it's also who the body part is attached to as well. Like so it's like some people
then watch a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Well, that's what I think. I think even Tarantino's someone like that, where it's like with Tarantino, it's also going to be like, with someone like Tarantino, it feels like when he meets someone who's really he thinks is really interesting, he wants to see their feet. Like that's. I think that's the way it is. It's like I don't necessarily know that Tarantino just wants to see everyone's feet forever. If it's like scrolling through pictures of feet is like scrolling through pictures of boobs, or if it's the kind of thing where it's like, ooh, when he meets somebody and he's interested in them, like has a sexual connection or whatever, now he wants to see his feet, So it might, for some people, yeah.
I don't get the foot thing. There's like an armpit thing too.
I heard of that one also. Ugh. I met someone. That's what it was. I met somebody whose thing was like smelling armpits or like putting their nose in people's armpits. Like that was their thing, was like they wanted a relationship where they could just like cuddle their face into their significant other's armpit. Was like their thing. It was weird. I'm like, again, they're like,
to each their own, but that's something I'm gonna avoid.
To what I was just saying though about like pay me to take pictures of this shit for you guys is like, as much as I can sit here and say like the foot shit is weird and I don't get it. The elbow thing is weird and I don't get it. At the same time, if that's your thing, like if you ever told me about it and you're like, hey, I have an armpit fetish. I love sniffing armpits. I'm not gonna mock you or shame you for it. Like it's not for me. But I kind of take off like what's
I feel like that's not the kind of person that like, I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like that kind of stuff does not come up in conversation with any of my friends. I don't know about anyone's sex life or their kinks or anything because I just don't.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing about weird kinks too, is like there's a certain type of person that wants to tell you about it, and there's a certain type of person that doesn't. Like, I guarantee you there are a lot more people with foot fetishes than people who admit they have foot fetishes. Because who wants to be mocked for it? But those types of people are people who are gonna whatchamacallit.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I do love like pimple popping videos, like Dr. Pimple Popper. And like the thing about feet that I like is like grooming. And so I love watching like the videos of like people getting pedicures and watching like somebody clean the feet because it's so satisfying.
I feel like that's only like, though that's not that far removed. Like, I'm not saying you have a foot fetish or anything like that, but I'm like, I don't think it's that much. I don't think that the people who have foot fetishes are probably that much further removed than the way you feel about feet. It's just like there's just another layer of it for them. I think they probably appreciate.
I think it's a sexual thing, and for me, it's not.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like they probably appreciate all the same things that you do about it, but for them it's sexual, whereas for you it's just aesthetic. And again, like that's fine. The thing where it comes down to is just like have the intelligence to not fucking talk about it or put it in my face all the time. And that's the thing. Like, I have sympathy and I have a certain amount of sympathy and a certain lack of sympathy because I have weird kinks. I have shit you don't know about. Actually, most of it, but like I have shit most people don't know about. Most and a lot of my friends. There's plenty, Anna, that you of course don't know about. There's tons of stuff that goes on in the bedroom that I'm not going to talk about publicly, and some of it is like, are there things we do that other people would think are weird? Probably, and just as much as I don't need anyone else judging what I do behind closed doors, no one else really wants to hear about that. It's very personal. It's not going to mean anything to anyone else. So I think where it gets weird, though, is just the people who have the weird fetishes who just want to fucking talk about it and tell you about it all the time. Like, dude, have the understanding to realize, like, no.
I love how this is, like, completely off topic. Blame the person that sent the super chat that got me off topic about weird commission requests.
We have one from Adam Wofford that says Jesse's OnlyFans, where she just crushes stuff with her feet. Retirement plan complete. You can buy your own house within 6 months. I might honestly, like, legitimately, like, we're all laughing about it. Leroy's sitting here in the chat saying, "Oh yeah, the feet people with big followers are getting $200 a foot pick." I'm like, maybe I'm in the wrong fucking industry. Like, maybe I should just be peddling my feet to people who are into them and making a ton of money. Like, how is that different than going to a 9-to-5 job that I hate just to make money? Like, if you could explain to me how it's somehow fundamentally different, okay, but to me, what's the difference? And if I can work fewer hours and make more money off of it, why, if I need money at points, why not look into something like that, rather than like a fucking restaurant job or some shit? I would rather sit in my house and pose and take pretty pictures of my feet or take videos of me stepping on things than I would go wait tables,
Have you ever I know this has nothing to do with the thing that you're talking about, but have you ever stepped on an egg?
I don't know.
Like, not with like your shoes on, because I remember I had to, because I grew up on a farm, and so I remember I was getting some of like the chicken eggs, and usually I wore shoes, but like I was little, so I guess I went outside and said, fuck it, I'm not wearing shoes. And so I was getting eggs, and then we had regular sized chickens, and then we had mini chickens, because yes, tiny chickens are a thing. Aww. And I stepped on a tiny chicken egg, but it was rotten, and I just remember like the feeling of it, and then the instant bad smell. Ew. And then the goop.
Well, that's pretty good. Greg Kirby says your foot title, #Jesse Stompers. That's a good one. That's a good point that Roland says. There's a difference between feet smut and feet art, though. I would be more interested in feet art. I think that, I feel like getting into smut. There's also, I heard of that one. There's like a word for it too. There's a fucking kink where people get off on videos of women stomping and yes, killing small animals with stiletto heels. Dude, I remember hearing about that when I was younger. Like that was one of the first like shock fetishes that someone told me about, and I was like, I was so horrified. I was like, ugh. That was like, ugh, God, when you learn about like snuff films for the first time, you're like, what the fuck? So before I go back and read American Myths super chat, which is gonna,
wait, did we finish the article?
We finished as much of the article as we need to read because it just gets more. I wanted to before we moved on, I want to give you the 2 additional layers to this piece that are that stupid. Primarily, I couldn't find an article example, but when I was looking this up, or when the story first broke, I was finding these left and right. Levels of fuckery not yet explored with this story. We already see the basic fuckery. For those of you just joining in, quick recap: Sia, the pop singer, is making a movie called Music, based on one of her friends who's on the spectrum. She tried to work with him in the movie, didn't work out, cast a non-spectrum chick instead, autistic community, losing their mind about it, attacking her, telling her she's horrible, doing harm to their community, throwing a bitch fit because all these autistic actors are feeling subtly entitled, going, why didn't you cast me? I was right here, even though she did cast 13 other neuroatypical actors. So that's what we're talking about for those of you who may have jumped in since we've been on that subject. So the levels of fuckery as yet unexplored are the ones where some of these people crusading against Sia and this movie felt the need to tell certain parents, because there were parents of actual autistic children on the spectrum, coming out. There were a few that came out and saying they loved this trailer because the trailer perfectly represented the way their child actually acts and behaves, and it was so refreshing.
Somebody says, Jesse, Dread Saberfield says, Jesse, I'll pay you $250 to use your imagination and draw Darth Maul's feet.
Seriously? Where was that one?
It's on Twitter. I'll send it to you.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah. I mean, if you are serious, I will do it.
That's going to be great.
If you are seriously, if it's funny for you to make me I'm not a good artist. I'll put that out there. Anna is a brilliant, amazing artist. If it is funny for you to pay me commissions to make bad art that you just want to own in your house, just to say you own an original piece of mine and laugh at how terrible it is, that's fine too. Like, if you pay me money, I will put in the work. Thing is, you will, no matter what, it's going to look like garbage. If you want to pay me $5, I will make a $5 sketch for you. If you want to pay me $50 to paint you a painting, I will put those $50 towards getting, rudimentary paints and fucking and like a nice canvas, not that nice, but whatever $50 will get me. And I will put effort and time into painting you something that I believe is worth $50, even though it will look like trash. So if you guys really, really want to commission an artist, but all of the real, actually good, talented artists are taken because everyone else wants them to paint shit for them too, you can commission a garbage artist. I am working on nothing for anyone right now in terms of commissions and paintings and drawings because I can't draw. So if you would like to commission an artist, I will gladly take your money to do that. And I'll do you one better. If you were hoping to commission Anna this holiday season, but you can't because she's too busy, you can commission me, and 10% of that money will go to Anna anyway.
Aw.
Just
you don't need to. You can keep it.
No, that'll be my holiday present for you. If anyone actually, first of all, no one's actually going to want a garbage painting for me.
I'd rather just have like chocolate or something because I have a feeling I'm going to starve on this Christmas, just like I starved on Thanksgiving.
Let me rephrase: 10% of whatever you pay me will go towards me buying candy for Anna for Christmas.
That sounds fantastic.
Okay. I just feel like if I'm gonna try to capitalize on the people who you had to turn away, then I should at least give you something back. I'd feel too scummy, just bottom feeding and not paying my dues. So I was saying about Sia though. So actual autistic parents coming out and saying, wow, this trailer's so amazing. I'm so excited to take my kid to see this movie because this character actually acts and behaves the way my daughter does. Or the way my son does, the way my child behaves. And it was so exciting and refreshing for these parents. So not only do you have that split of actual parents, of actual people afflicted by similar things to this character, thanking Sia for putting this out there, but you have these SJW fucks telling these parents why they are wrong and why they should want better for their children. Because apparently these people who are lightly on the spectrum to the point where they can live in a regular world and become actors, fucking feel entitled enough to tell parents of very disabled children, of children who are never going to live normal lives, what they should want for their children. You can't get more entitled than that.
Yeah.
To sit there like, first of all, y'all are on this, y'all sitting here saying you're on the spectrum. You should know exactly how difficult it was for your parents navigating parenthood with a differently abled child. And how well,
I mean, first off, you shouldn't be, it's nobody's business but the parents how they raise their children.
Exactly. And no matter what the situation
like that's honestly, that's kind of the equivalent of going up to someone and saying, hey, I'm Jewish, you shouldn't raise your child to be a non-Jew, or vice versa, like a Catholic going up to a Jewish person saying you shouldn't raise your child to be Jewish, they should be Catholic, because that's what they personally
exactly. So nobody, regardless of ability or identity or whatever, has any right to tell another parent how to parent their child, whether you are a parent yourself or not. Certainly, especially when it comes to children with different abilities, whether physically, mentally, whatever, it's so specific to the family, to the child, to their needs, that to think for a second that you somehow know what's better for that kid than the parents who live with them every day, the parents who probably had to sacrifice humongous things from their entire lives to take care of these children, that you're going to sit here and tell them what's best for their kids. To me, the level of entitlement is beyond, it's just beyond. I can't. I can't even process this. Like I want to do violence to these people because.
Well, no, it's just honestly people that are saying those kind of things probably have never been around kids, don't have kids, probably have no intention of having kids, and there's just a level of respect that doesn't exist anymore for people. With going up to somebody and telling them how they should live their lives, or especially lecturing someone on how to raise their kids. You really don't know. You don't know the situation. You don't know the kid. You don't know the way the kid responds to things, how they learn. And if seeing something like that helps a kid, it doesn't matter if the actor portraying that character is autistic or not. Does the story get across? Exactly. Like the example with Forrest Gump. I mean, I feel like you kind of have to be a little bit older to watch Rain Man, because I remember my parents watching it and I wasn't interested in it when I was a kid. But I remember watching Forrest Gump and liking it when I was a kid, because that's kind of a movie that you can understand at all ages. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of the references, but I could understand the point of the story.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, just the whole thing with when he meets Bubba, and then Lieutenant Dan's like, "Are you two twins?" And they're like, "No, we no relation." And it's like, because they're so similar, it was sweet, it's endearing, and it makes you feel something when Bubba dies. And
Of course.
I don't think anybody is sitting back complaining because Tom Hanks played Forrest Gump and his IQ is obviously much higher than 80. And nobody's complaining because of the actor that played Bubba. It's just, those were the best actors for the job, and they gave an outstanding performance. And once you watch Forrest Gump, you're never going to forget that movie.
Here's a great point, though, right? Because that's a thing in, the way society treats you. IQ, which is just, a measure of how smart you are and whatnot. If it's below a certain number, you are considered retarded. I mean, the old language, obviously, you're considered retarded, is how they used to say it. When you're below a certain amount, you were considered legally retarded. And by that logic too, though, it's like there's nothing in some of those cases, there's nothing measurably special about, someone's brain where you're like, oh, they're on the spectrum, or they're this or that or the other. Maybe now you'd go back and say, oh, Forrest Gump was clearly on the spectrum. Okay. But if your only measure is that number to determine whether or not a person's on the spectrum or differently abled or whatever, then by that logic, any character, a beautiful mind, forget even the fact that Russell Crowe doesn't have schizophrenia. He doesn't have a genius level IQ.
Yeah.
If your IQ isn't genius levels, because the thing is, whatever is special about your brain that makes you neuroatypical, if your IQ is below a certain amount, is no different than whatever special about your brain makes you neuroatypical when it's above a certain amount. Because guess a lot of people in that genius category are neuroatypical in various ways and stuff like that. So by that logic, whenever you play a Stephen Hawking or a John Nash or any other brilliant scientist, whether or not they have another medical or psychological condition, if that person doesn't have a comparable IQ, well, then they shouldn't be allowed to play that person because it's insensitive to the very, very small percentages of geniuses out there who don't get represented in film.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think Henry Cavill is an alien from Krypton, but he sure as hell, looks like the one from the comics.
Yeah, he can't fly. Does he lift? He lifts things in that movie because he's Superman with super strength that is unrealistic. And Henry Cavill could not lift trains, buildings, blah, whatever. Henry Cavill is not that strong. It is unrealistic. He can't do those things. So why don't you cast the strongest man in the world to play Superman?
I volunteer to watch him try. I volunteer as tribute to watch him try.
But by that logic, the only person who it's fair to cast as Superman is the world's strongest man. Which is ridiculous because the world's strongest man is full on juice and can only lift that much weight.
There was another argument that I guess trans people were getting upset because Eddie, I can never remember his last name. Eddie
Redmayne.
Okay, so how Eddie Redmayne played in the Danish Girl. Yep. He won the freaking Oscar for that performance. I personally thought he should have won for Theory of Everything. But I thought The Danish Girl was a good movie until the end. I feel like it fell off once they got to Paris. But
it's hard. It was hard because I read the book that it's based on, which is based on a true a true story and whatnot. It was hard to tell a good ending because the ending really is it's the way the book. But I agree with you. I thought his performance was stellar as in that role.
Oh yeah, he did a fantastic job, and they cast one of the best actors to play that character. But I guess a lot of trans people got upset that it wasn't a trans person that was cast as that role. But then like specifically, I saw this one trans person making the argument.
Sorry, that shouldn't be making noise. It just stopped doing the call.
Oh my God. I'm so off. But the person that was making the argument, they didn't like that Eddie Redmayne was cast in The Danish Girl, but they love Rocky Horror Picture Show and they love Tim Curry's performance. But it's like, do you not see how hypocritical that is?
Exactly. Tim Curry is just as trans as Eddie Redmayne is, which is not at all.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference? Because there isn't. It's the hypocrisy is
I mean, just like that one movie we talked about last time we did the show with Hugo Weaving with the Queen of the Desert or something.
Oh, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yeah, he's obviously, not is she a transvestite in that one, or is she just a drag queen?
I haven't seen the movie, so I actually don't know. I think he's just a transvestite and like a drag queen, but I do not know for positively sure. Either way,
but
sure,
I mean, it's very obvious Hugo Weaving is not, a drag queen, but he's not playing a role in the movie.
Exactly. To Wong Fu, thanks for everything. Julie Newmar, love that movie so much. Such a great movie. Part of the joy about that movie, I would argue, especially for the time it was made, it was more important to have straight men play those roles than trans men, cis men, whatever. Because this is a movie in which Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo, 3 very masculine men, all play drag queens. All get dressed up.
Wesley Snipes was in that too.
He wears heels. He's magical.
God.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's so important. This to me, like, To Wong Fu is a more important movie for the trans community than anything else they're trying to make with the trans actor and this and that and the other. And yeah, okay, you can tell me I'm wrong for saying that because I'm not a member of the trans community, so what do I know? But looking at it from somebody on the outside, my understanding is understanding of the trans community is a very important part. So taking 3 hyper-masculine, super hetero actors that we all relate to, that are heartthrobs of their time, and not John Leguizamo, not so much a heartthrob, but that are masculine actors, good-looking guys. Patrick Swayze is a total fucking heartthrob. Wesley Snipes is a badass sex pot, and putting them in these dresses and makeup and heels and having them prance around and act like women, and to have that play, it's not farcical at all. It's played with total heart, with so much heart, and the whole premise of the movie is they're on this road trip and they break down in this podunk town that is never going to understand who they are and what they're doing, and so they have to hide it. And they make friends with these characters, they make connections in the town, and shit comes out, of course, and they have to deal with that. And I'm sure that there are trans people who honestly see that movie and feel like it doesn't represent them well. There probably are some that do, and I'm sure the SJWs all hate it because they weren't actual trans actors. But what's the impact if a movie at that era? Because what year was that? 90 somewhere. A movie of that era comes out with 3 trans actors that no one's ever heard of. Does anyone see that movie? No, of course they don't. But a movie comes out in 1995. It's a 95 film. A 95 film gets, first of all, a 95 film with 3 trans actors that no one's ever heard of doesn't get a theatrical release in 95 at all. If it does, no one sees it. It's an art house release that goes to the festival circuit and gets shown in the, in the artsy, in the Film Institute theaters and stuff. And no one sees it. Instead, it becomes this cult classic that people still to this day, 25 years later, still talk about. Why? Because it's so exciting to tell someone who's never heard of this movie. Oh yeah, you see the movie where Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes play drag queens? And it's like, what? How? No. And you're like, that's totally crazy. I got to see this. So you go see it and you go watch this beautifully told story about drag queens and bringing that level of understanding and compassion for a different way of life into a dusty Western town and shit where they've never experienced anything like it. Like, you get that adventure, you get that trip, and you only get that journey because Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes are in that movie. Same thing, Rain Man. They want to sit here and bitch all they want about it's so harmful for the stereotypes for autistic people in the media and this and that. Well, guess what? Before Rain Man, you guys have 0 representation. Nobody is talking about autism in the media or in life or at all. You want to go back and trace this, and you can do this because film historians have. You can trace the immense cultural impact Rain Man had on the autistic community in a measurably, demonstratively positive way. That's not to say that there isn't a valid criticism of the negative stereotypes. That's not to say that some of those stereotypes didn't persist and cause, quote, harm or offense in the autistic community since that movie came out. I'm sure it has. But weigh that against the fact that for the first fucking time in the history of America, the general public is aware of autism, is aware of what this thing means. Rain Man brings the awareness that leads to the studies that lead us to realizing autism is a spectrum, realizing it's a collection of vastly disparate and unrelated afflictions or disorders or differences in the brain that have nothing, nothing to do with each other. We don't necessarily get there as a society that quickly without Rain Man. And it's the progress. That's the thing about progress people don't understand. Progress isn't victory. It isn't success. It isn't the end. It isn't the finish line. Progress is just that, making positive changes. So when all you're concerned with is getting to this movable finish line that you're going to move as soon as you get there, you will never be happy, and you will never have the opportunity to stop and appreciate the change and the progress. And
I think that's honestly one of the biggest problems is people they don't know how to be happy anymore. And so they spend so much time wanting this thing. And like they're obsessing over this thing. They want this thing. The second they get this thing, they move on to the next thing. And there's, maybe they get a glimmer of happiness or some kind of, yes, I did it. But then it's on to the next thing, and it's on to the next thing, and it's on to the next thing. And they can never be happy.
Exactly. You put it so well. And I think it's exactly that, because the identity they form for themselves isn't based around this thing they say they want. Their identity is based around the fact they don't have the thing they want. And so if they get it, and if they just accept that they've gotten the thing they wanted and they're happy, their identity goes away. So there always has to be something they don't have, because their identity is based around, I'm a person who's oppressed and who's kept from getting the things I want. Whereas if they just realize exactly what you said, make it about, understand that you already got the things you wanted, be happy. Stop being so fucking addicted to misery and outrage. And if you want further proof, this is that last thing I wanted to tell you about. If you want further proof that these people are addicted to unhappiness and will never be happy no matter what, my favorite tweet around all the bullshit attacking Sia, right, was this one. Someone comes out and says, stop calling Sia deaf, blind, tone deaf. She isn't. She's egotistical and ableist. Stop using people's disabilities to mean ableist, harmful, or a cock, etc. Literally, this person is fucking tone policing his own fucking kind, because they're not attacking Sia using the correct words.
Oh my God.
We should attack Sia but use different words, because apparently the word deaf, that literally is just in the dictionary and means you can't hear, now is part of your identity. Now it's a word that means a special group that can't be touched or talked about. So we need to eradicate the words deaf and blind from anywhere in our lexicon that doesn't specifically and kindly, in a humane way, refer to people who can't see and can't hear. This is, if the people in these communities can't look in and see this, hear that tweet, and realize how far off the rails they've gone, there is no help there.
Hey, my computer keeps like making noises. I think it wants to restart. I already did like the update on it, but for whatever reason it's being weird. So if I randomly cut out, that's why.
Noted. I Am Void says, where's the best place to send you both a PFP? I also do some digital drawings. Cool. Is a PFP just a file, I assume? I don't know.
Yeah. You can email me. My email address is thatstarwarsgirl@gmail.com.
And I am me.mindlessentertainment@gmail.com. Putting it in the chat again. Always love to see people's works, people's pets too. John 42, I believe, is the one who just sent me some wonderful pictures of his kitties and his puppadoo. So you can always send me whatever you want.
Just don't send porn, please. I beg you.
Just don't what?
Don't send porn.
Yes, please no porn, please no dick. Oh, that's my thing. If you want to send your unsolicited dick pics to me, I will just post them publicly along with like your, whatever information, whatever you sent it on, your username or email address, whatever you used to send it to me, I will post that along with the picture. So don't send me unsolicited dick pics unless you don't want me to unsolicitedly solicit that dick pic to everybody in the world. I feel like that's a pretty fair trade. Like, I didn't ask for it. You didn't ask for me to show it to the internet, but I didn't ask for you to send it to me. So if you want to send it to me, all bets are off. That's my picture now. That's why I make people send NDAs before I even, the guy, the guy who paid me like $150 for 3 pictures of me in a bikini a few years ago. I made him sign an NDA for that. Do I care? Like one of those pictures is on my Instagram now. So obviously I'm not that precious about it, but it's my image. I own my image. So yeah, if you want pictures of me that you own, you will be signing an NDA. But that's my email in there. And as you also guys can clearly see, I will never, ever, ever steal anybody else's work. That is just not in my wiring. That would be too fucked up. Leroic says to paraphrase Hamilton, they'll never be satisfied. I hate Hamilton, so I wouldn't know that, but thank you, Leroic. You and Kelly can geek about Hamilton because she knows all the songs.
I still have not watched it, but I don't like rap music. I never have. I never will.
Honestly, it's more like musical music than rap music to me, and I like rap music better than I like musical music. It's the musical part that is off-putting to me about Hamilton, not the hip-hop part. Because I actually think it is bullshit that they package this play as like, oh, it's the rap hip-hop, it's like totally black culture musical. No, it's a musical written to sound a little blacker than the average musical. And it's fine. Like, look, if you like Hamilton, A+, go for it. It's just still a musical to me, and I don't really care for musicals, especially not those kinds where like you just sing through the whole fucking plot the whole time. It's not for me. A+ if it's for you, it's not for me. But yeah. So Macy Van Dusen says, who drew your new profile pic, Anna?
Oh, I found it on Pinterest, and somebody did the Santa hat and the drunk 3PO thing on it last year. And cool. So I haven't been able to get on my regular profile pic to get the Christmas theme on it. So I'm just using this for right now. But
I dig it.
Yeah.
Jesse's Only Dicks coming soon. Oh my God. I should start something like that. I should start a site and call it Only Dicks. And everyone's going to think it's some weird OnlyFans site and whatnot, or some weird like dick pic site. All it's going to be when you go to it, it's just going to be Cecil videos on repeat. That'll be my troll. That K2 fan says, Jesse Milestone is a national treasure. Thor is us. So that K2 fan's really, really excited because he asked me yesterday, he was like, how long have we been friends? We've been friends for about 1.5 years now. We met because he was just a fan of the channel, and we met down in San Diego during Comic-Con last year, and then just became good friends. And so he was jokingly asking me to grade our friendship the other day, like give it a letter grade. I'm like, so I jokingly said, well, I was always a fan of alternative education, so what if I give it an evaluation instead of a grade? And then I thought, nah, we're Marvel fans. I'm going to give our friendship a Marvel movie. And I picked Thor because this particular friend, we have a very fun, lighthearted friendship. But it's still, is a strong connection. It's fun. It's good. It's great. And it's also in its early years. So I felt Thor was the appropriate choice. It apparently tickles him because it's one of his favorite Marvel movies. So if you see that KS2 fan getting very excited about the fact that our friendship is Thor, that's what he's talking about. All right, so here we go. So Leroic sent the super chat. Now I'm going to jump back to that American Myths one because it's the same topic. So we'll read his first. We got Leroic's up here. So American Myth, where are you? I'm going to find you right now. You're way up here. Goodness. Nope, other way. Here we go. American Myth. Okay, great points on last night on the Woke Mando episode. Can Star Wars ever be great again, or has the time passed? How do we get around today's politics? I'll lump this other one right in here too, which is Leroic's. What are your and Anna's thoughts on Ahsoka Tano episode if you watched it? So we're going to give you guys Cliff Notes Mandalorian feels because we're already pretty full on our episode. But I think, Anna, you and I probably have a lot of Mandalorian stuff to talk about when the season's over. So yeah. I'm totally happy to keep teasing our Mando takes together. And then when the season's all out, spend a Matriarchy episode or two really hashing out what we think.
Well, I'll say this. Remember many Matriarchies ago when we were talking about the Leslie Headland announcement, and then I was explaining to you the end of Star Wars Rebels, and you came up with your epiphany of the female-centric Star Wars is going to be about Ahsoka and Sabine going and finding Ezra and Thrawn. Yep. And then this episode really felt like the introduction of the character for a spinoff show. You were right.
Yep. Thank you. I will probably start gleefully reposting that video places and reminding everybody that I'm right and that this is actually a terrible thing that we didn't want. So I really feel like Jeff is the one that put this into the best words. Jeff said this season or The Mandalorian in general is becoming the new Force Awakens, where it's starting to sucker people back in with these member berries, the ones that people wanted. The same way, like, oh, Force Awakens, what's the one thing that was going to get a bunch of OG fans on board right away? We're bringing back the original cast, right?
Mm.
It's so, to me, it feels like the same gimmick. Hey, we got Katie Sackhoff to actually play live action Bo-Katan. Hey, we got Rosario Dawson. We listened to the fans. We heard all the chatter on the internet about everyone talking about how great of a Ahsoka Tano Rosario Dawson would be. So we did that for you. We got out and we did that for you. And that feels right because we asked for that. That feels great because we've had a Mandalorian show that so far, because of the tenor Favreau brings into Lucasfilm, I know you're not always a fan of what he's done with the show, but I think we can both agree that he has a much more respectful approach towards the fans than most of the rest of the people at Lucasfilm.
Well, I think Favreau, he's a big picture guy. He's got a little bit more control and ideas on what sells, but he's not into the tiny little details. Like if you look at like just the writers that did KOTOR and when they were, especially with KOTOR 2, when they were doing KOTOR 2, KOTOR 1 wasn't finished. And so they had to come up with this story and these characters, and one of the main characters in the game, Kreia, is, for everyone that's played KOTOR and KOTOR 2, she's widely known as one of the best Star Wars characters and one of the best, well-written characters ever in all of Star Wars. And that was based on a game that wasn't finished, and they had to make a story up on that. And there's so many tiny little details in those games, and they had, not even the budget or, the amount of time. That's why the game was unfinished. But it's so freaking good. And I feel like with Favreau, he's got the idea, but he doesn't go in and do all the tiny little details.
And I think where he goes wrong is relying too much on Filoni for those details.
Yes, I agree. And Filoni is not the person to go to for those details.
But is it fair to say that Favreau, brought a certain amount of goodwill back to Star Wars with The Mandalorian? Whether or not everyone bought into it, he did bring a certain amount of goodwill where some people started to feel like, oh, there's someone at Lucasfilm listening to us. There's someone at Lucasfilm who actually cares about the fans. So I feel like that's pretty fair to say. Whether or not you're one of the people who bought into it, it was pretty clear that there was this like perking up of the ears and a softening throughout a lot of the fan base. That's not everyone. Tom has been pretty anti-Mandalorian from the get-go. You've been anti the show from the get-go. A bunch of people have not been on board. But I think it's still pretty fair to say that there was a certain softening around that wasn't the case for any of the bigger sequel properties.
Well, see, and I really don't like the show. I absolutely hated season 1.
Yeah.
And it was such a, honestly, it's just such a letdown, but I grew up loving Star Wars. I still have the originals. I still have everything that's great about Star Wars. And that's why I love playing the game so much, because I'm like, this can take me out of the reality for, an hour or two while I play and just be immersed in something completely awesome with so much heart and so much respect for the original IP. And so I've stopped caring about Mando. I don't care about him. The only thing I care about in the show is Baby Yoda, because he's so cute and I love him and I want him and I bought the freaking statue of him because he's so cute. I love him.
Anna, how did you feel about 2 episodes ago where they bust into the facility and have the speeder bike chase in that one?
Oh, he got the cookie. You mean the Baby Yoda cookie episode?
I thought, that one. I thought that was a great use of him in that episode too. I was like, if they had stayed the course with this show, you really set up in that episode a great use for him where it's like, oh, if we want to, sometimes taking him on the missions and having Mando have to worry about him is good. But if we want to set up something where he's got to go on a mission and leave the kid behind, then that's a perfect way to split up the episode. So we keep the drama and the little more earnestness of the story with the action characters. And then you have your comic relief in the classroom where it makes total sense. And none of that felt out. The only thing I hated about that scene was, why the fuck do Star Wars cookies look exactly like macaroons on Earth?
I think that was just they just used what they had.
They just cheaped out. In my opinion. That's been a large complaint I've had about sequel Star Wars in general, are the moments where they just crap out on creating something new and just use something from Earth. Aside from that, though, that was so charming and so fun.
It was so cute. He had a little macaroon, and then he was on the spaceship, and it was just like he was on a roller coaster, and then he got sick.
Oh my god, when he held it! Oh, I love that. That was so funny, and that's the whole thing. Like,
so cute.
That's the stuff. Like the way you're responding to that. Like if they had made a show that was no more connected to the rest of the universe, but something that you liked better, that was a better show. In your opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with watching the show and going, wow, that was a really fun action sequence. Oh, Baby Yoda was so cute with his little roller coaster. It doesn't have to connect back into the Clone Wars and Rebels and the Skywalkers and the this and the that and the other. It can just be a fun show in the Star Wars universe with enough familiarity to feel like Star Wars, but fun new things. Like Baby Yoda doesn't have to be part of anything bigger or whatever, or not. The fact that he's a recognizable creature and there's mystery around that creature is enough. Just keep playing with the relationship between the two of them, with the goofiness of the kid, with all these kinds of things. So all of that stuff, is fine. It loses me where they want to bring all of this back in. And one of the things someone would point out, American Myths was there referencing what we talked about yesterday with the wokeness, is going back to the Bo-Katan episode for a second. It happened in the Ahsoka one, but to a lesser extent. I get 100% why a fan of Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever she's most prominent in, I don't even know, would see that episode and go, oh my God, thank you. Finally, this makes sense again with the Mandalorian lore. Okay, you're explaining why this shit's been wrong the whole time. Yes, and have that sigh of relief, like, oh my God, they're getting it right. But flip to watching the show.
Well, I mean, honestly, I was okay with Ahsoka never being in live action because then they don't really get to butcher her character.
Yeah.
But in this, it's like, okay, you have Ahsoka freaking Tano, who was trained by Anakin Skywalker, and she's going up against a lady with a staff, and she doesn't just take her out. I get that she wanted information from her, but I mean, that's not something that would have taken Ahsoka Tano that long. But I mean, I just
I need to interrupt you for 1 second because this is really, really important, because someone in the chat is trying to make fun of me and mock me for the fact that my voice is hoarse right now, apparently not realizing this is actually something chronic laryngitis is something I have struggled with earnestly. We even talked about earlier this episode. Is something I have earnestly struggled with for years now. You can go back to August when I couldn't talk for an entire month, and I have spent years trying to rehab my voice. And yes, guess what? Guess what, a-hole? It's a disability for me because I am a singer. I am a YouTube personality. My job is using my voice. I'm a fencing coach. I need my voice for my voice for talking. So, Mr. High and Mighty High Horse down there, you want to go mock people? You want to go mock people for shit? You want to go be an asshole? Maybe learn about them. Maybe learn about them before you do. Maybe understand that running your mouth off like an a-hole about people that you really don't know anything about before actually trying to understand the situation might not be the smartest course of action to take. That's all I wanted to say. I agree with you 100% what you're saying, Anna, about Ahsoka and not needing the live action version. I think it's a really, really well put. I didn't mean to interrupt because you're making some great points about this episode. So you were talking about the staff specifically and
well, I mean, somebody made a good point about how this is supposed to be like the rarest of rare metals, but he finds a new one in like every episode.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about yesterday. Like, you can't just tell me at the beginning of the show that Beskar is rare and then shove it in my face every fucking episode, showing it to me all of the time and expect me to continue to believe that this is a rare metal in the universe. It's just bad storytelling.
You know what? Oh my God.
Macy Van Dusen says, knock, knock. Who's there? Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda who? Baby Yoda, only one for me. Fuck this Grogu shit. That's a stupid name. I'm sorry. It's a stupid name.
Okay. Here's the thing. To play off what you were talking about, though. Mm-hmm. You're going to spend almost 24 hours insulting someone online, stalk them onto another platform just to complain the entire time, and then tell us to calm down.
Exactly.
Go away.
Rabbi Hillel told a wonderful story, wonderful Jew. That's like Rabbi Hillel in Judaism. It's like Aesop's fables, but for Jews. It's always been one of my favorite ones. A woman comes to Rabbi Hillel with a problem and says, I started a rumor about my neighbor. It was an unkind rumor, and it spread like wildfire. Everyone in the town is repeating it. And she found out it was me, and I really hurt her, and I don't know how to take it back. Tell me how to fix this. And so Rabbi Hillel says, take a pillow. Take a down pillow to the top of a hill on a windy day, cut open the pillow and scatter the feathers to the wind. And so she does this. And then she comes back to Rabbi Hillel and says, I've done what you asked. Can I be forgiven now? Have I made amends? And he says, oh no, now you must go and gather up every single feather. And she says, Rabbi, that's impossible. The feathers all got scattered in the wind. They're blowing all over the town. There's no way I could ever go back and pick up every single feather. And he says, yes, such is the way with your words. You can't, that's why people, it's your the quote that you brought up when the I'm Void was asking for inspiration. One of the lines that you brought up was think before you speak, or before you speak, think, or something like that. So however it was phrased, it's exactly right, because you can't take back your words. You can't take back your actions once you put them out into the world, once you've pasted them publicly for people to see. So if you realize you're wrong later, if you realize, shit, maybe I took it too far, maybe that wasn't the right approach, maybe that wasn't the right approach, maybe that wasn't the way I should have handled this, and now you're going, shit, I want to, maybe I should have handled this man-to-man. Maybe I should have reached out directly, because I realized this entire time I had a direct line to this person and could have just handled this like adults instead of acting like a bigger child and trying to make my point about how wrong it is to shit on other artists by spending 24 hours violently shitting on another artist. After those 24 hours are done and you suddenly sit there and go, maybe I handled that wrong. Good. Go back, find every single person who saw one of your tweets, who saw one of the things you said that you want to take back, and go tell those people you were wrong. When you can do that, then you can come back and talk to us and say you want to have a conversation and you want to have a dialogue here and you want to actually now talk to us and actually be heard and have us listen and listen to us.
Well, I mean, it's not only that, it's going out of your way to misrepresent information and to twist something and create a situation that didn't exist before, and going out of your way to do that. And then to not, I mean, art is one thing, but then saying that another person is a terrible human being because you don't agree with them, and then stalking them onto other platforms just to
that
has nothing to do with the thing that you're complaining about, and then stalk them onto another platform just to complain the entire time. It blows my mind.
Whereas, hey, if you had reached out privately in the first place and said, hey, Anna, I'm a fellow artist, and I don't think that drawing over someone else's work was very cool. Why did you do it? Guarantee you, if Anna saw that message, she'd probably have answered it, and respectfully. And there would have been no thing. Maybe you'd understand why she did it. Maybe you would have appreciated why she did it. Maybe you'd have realized that the intention was not to shame another artist, but to prove unequivocally that with a small amount of effort, you can make somebody both big and beautiful. And that, guess what? Women do like to be both. We like to be beautiful. We don't want to be ugly. And the point that Anna was making is simply that there is no excuse for studios to be this lazy in what they're trying to peddle to us and tell us is good and okay. That they can package something that is both honors a larger woman. And I just looked at pictures of us from earlier this year. I put on a lot of weight this year. I was well more overweight than I've ever been in my life. My body didn't look anything like her body. And I went back and looked at some pictures of earlier this year. I don't like the way my body looks like that. But I dressed in a certain way, and I presented myself in a certain way because I wanted my body to look a certain way. I have never met any goth woman, because I think goth women are they sell you as she's a goth chick. She's a goth chick in the description, right? Goth women, I have known many, many, many in my lifetime. They are very into how they look. The larger goth women that I know all look a lot more like Anna's drawing than the original one. So the point that I got very clearly from that was, if you're going to try to represent a certain type of person, an overweight goth queer woman, maybe actually find out what overweight goth queer women look like before.
Also, half alien, by the way.
True, half alien. Maybe find out what an actual overweight queer woman, goth woman in today's society, how she chooses to represent herself before you decide you know how to represent it. And And the larger point stands too, where like this, an anomaly as one body of work is fine. But this is something too that you have to understand about Anna's larger body of work, is that you have been calling out this defeminization of women forever. And the SJW community wants to sit here and act like the defeminization of women is just sticking it to toxic men. No, I'm not pretty. I don't make myself look a certain way for men. I make myself look a certain way for me. Because there's a certain way I want to look that has nothing to do with artificially imposed beauty standards. Artificially imposed beauty standards. You guys have seen me. You guys know me. Do I look like a person who has for any second picked up a fashion magazine and I'm going, oh, that's what I'm supposed to look like?
Hold on. No. You reached out after calling me a horrible person and a terrible artist and saying terrible, terrible things about me publicly for hours. When you could have simply messaged me. You had access to my DMs for over a year. I have an email address. I have a Facebook. You could have said all of this to me, but instead you decided to call me terrible things publicly. Yep. Like there's absolutely nothing you can say to me. You have said it's one thing to say my art is terrible. That's fine. I really don't care. Art is completely subjective. I don't care if you don't like it. You talked about me as a human being and said, again, you're spreading lies about me. And you, again, saying, oh, Anna has her DMs turned off. You've had access to my DMs for over a year. You criticized my YouTube channel. You criticized me as a person. You know very well why I took a break from YouTube. My sister fucking died, you piece of shit. You know that. We had a conversation about it. That's why my YouTube channel kind of stopped growing, because I stopped making videos because I had to take care of actual life shit. And you saying I'm a hateful, terrible person, and now you want to talk to me because I stopped responding to you on Twitter? Go fuck yourself, you fucking piece of shit.
And I want to say one more piece on it, and then you don't deserve any more of our time or energy, because we got 2 other super chats waiting from Shadow Warchild and Go Big Boy or Go Home, who are people we actually like. But I will say my final piece, which is clearly you didn't listen to my story, RJ, or you'd already understand why we're not engaging with you and we're not accepting your olive branch. Did you not listen to the fucking story? The entire point was exactly that. You can't fix this. You spent 24 hours on a crusade to spread lies and shit and crap all over another artist because you didn't like one thing she did, when you had every avenue. It's not like these avenues to reach out privately just appeared. They were all there before you ran your mouth. You had the opportunity to do the right thing in the beginning, but you didn't. You did not do the right thing, RJ. You did the wrong thing. You did the shitty thing. You did the asshole thing. So you don't get that second chance right now. We don't have to give it to you. We're not in the wrong for saying, sorry, dude, you fucked up, and now we're not engaging with you. You are still in the wrong. You don't get to run your high and mighty on your high and mighty. Well, I tried to make amends, and I tried to apologize. Guess what? If you run over my cat in the street, there is no apology I'm ever going to accept. Sometimes you fuck up, and you do shitty things, and then people just don't want to talk to you anymore because they realize what a shitty person you actually are, and they don't care what apology you cook up later or what deeper thoughts you figure out down the line when you stop acting like an asshole. We don't care anymore. You've shown your true colors. When someone shows you who they are, believe it.
This situation isn't a big deal. Then why have you been on some kind of crusade for almost 24 hours now, calling me a grifter, insulting me? Almost 24 hours, and now you want to talk? You
want to decide whether or not it's a big fucking deal
to talk to me for over a year, and after insulting me for hours, I stopped responding to you. Now you want to talk? Just go away. I have nothing to say to you. There's nothing you can say to me that's going to fix this.
And if this is really what this is about, because I want to put out there, just in case this is what this is really about. She's not interested. She never was. You're never going to get a fucker, no matter how nice you are now. So if that's what this is really about, because I have a suspicion that it probably is, then just go rub one out and get over this yourself, dude, because like this is a you thing, not an us thing.
I don't think that's what this is about, but okay, so you're not apologizing about calling me a grifter or mean-spirited. Then again, that furthers my point. You have absolutely nothing there's nothing you can possibly say to me.
Oh, so you just want to continue to be an asshole. So you just think your pathetic loser self who thinks you're going to try to weasel your way onto one of these shows or something to, score some points and get more followers and get more attention. You're literally stupid enough that you are being transparent about that. Like, you're not even smart enough to actually figure out how to try to spin this situation in your advantage. You are actually stupid.
You want to help me? Dude, I don't need your help with my art career. My art career is fine.
RJ, you need help.
Absolutely fine.
Dude, you need help. Look at yourself. Like, nobody who describes their resume the way you do has 24 hours to waste attacking other freelance artists that you apparently think are so beneath you. I personally am done with this guy. So I have nothing else to say to him, and I have no interest in wasting any more time or breath on him. I'd like to read the next Super. Is that cool with you?
That's fine.
You want to run your mouth, RJ, in the chat? I'll let the rest of the mindless mob deal with you however they see fit. As far as I'm concerned, I have nothing more to say to you because you're a moron. But Shadow Warchild says, do you two feel that the more they try to pay service to the Lord, they miss? Yes! Thank you! Exactly, Shadow Warchild. Because if you have to think about how you're paying service to the lore, you don't understand it enough to be paying the fan service. We were just talking about this because someone asked last night. It's a really good question. How do you do, quote, member berries correctly? And we agree, Jeff and I agreed, and Anna, you can add or change, whatever your definition would be. For me, I would say the easiest way to define what a good member berry is something that, if you're familiar with the source material that it's referencing, it's enough that it makes you go, oh, hey, and that's it. And then you go right back into the movie and don't even think about it. If it makes you do more than that, or makes you focus on it more than that, it's too heavy-handed. It's too much. If it does a little dance across your screen and goes, hey, look at me, it's calling attention to itself too much. I think that's really the thing, is like, member berries should not be put in by people going, ooh, let's slip this in for the fans. Member berries should be put in by people who love the fan, who love or at least understand the original stuff, to the point where when they're writing or working on producing these things, they should go, oh, it'd be really clever or would be really fun. Remember that thing from the original? Let's slip that in right here. That's how it should come into it. Not people sitting in a room going, okay, well, let's figure out what the people like the best about the original Star Wars and try to reference those things in our new ones. You're being too academic. You're missing the point. Fan service is a feeling. It's about, that nostalgia, that little grab. So yes, Shadow Warchild, I feel like that's exactly what they're doing. Is they're going, here you go. Here's this fan service you wanted. No, it'll feel right when it's the fan service you wanted to, because you're a fan of this and you put this thing in for you, not for me. And that's the best way to say it. A good member berry is one that was put in by the creators, for the creators, not for the audience. The audience will pick it up and appreciate it because they are also familiar with the source material. But that's one that's made with the story in mind, with the creation of the product in mind, not with the fan service in mind. Does that sound something you'd agree with? Or do you have something to add or take away from?
Well, I feel like there's a way to do both, because, just look at Disneyland. Like, there's the hidden Mickeys everywhere. And so that's like a popular, the Imagineers did that for the fans. So that way there's like something like another little Easter egg or something for somebody to look at it. It's another level to the experience of going to Disneyland. Yeah. And Disney World, I think they're at all of them, but I've only been to Disneyland, so I can only talk about Disneyland. But there's one inside Mickey's house that I didn't know was there. And then when I went last time with my friends and we're inside Mickey's house and I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, a hidden Mickey. I didn't expect to see that there. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I found something that I wasn't expecting, and it makes you happy. And so I feel like when Pixar, I think, does it the best, where you're not expecting it. It doesn't have any effect on the plot, the story. It's just like a little thing that's there. I guess just Easter eggs as compared to member berries. But because are we talking about just things that are there or actual plot points?
Well, I feel like Easter eggs evolved into member berries. I feel like we used to have Easter eggs and then we got member berries because it's the Easter eggs taken. I feel like member berries are the intersection of callbacks and Easter eggs in a bad way, because movies had Easter eggs, like you're saying, and movies used to have callbacks. Something like, if another Disney movie had a character that said, hey, Hakuna Matata, and it turns out, oh, it's the voice of Timon, is the actor saying Hakuna Matata in this one too. So it would be Nathan Lane, you know. So if you have like Nathan Lane shows up in a Disney movie, either voicing a different character or playing himself, and he like has a moment where he just shrugs and goes Hakuna Matata, like in the world.
Does
like,
he do that in The Producers? I feel like he does.
He might. Because that would be like, to me, that's a good nod, you know. That's that's crossing that bridge between like a callback, and you have your Easter egg of the fact that it's Nathan Lane both times, and you have your callback of, oh, it's Hakuna Matata, also from a Disney movie. Or things like when Hercules is wearing Scar's pelt, and that's the Nemean lion in the movie. Like, to me, a good member bearer, even it does what an Easter egg does, which it's not. It shouldn't be a plot point. It shouldn't take you out of the story. It should just be a throwaway line or an image in the background or something like that that doesn't detract from the story. You know, a callback. You know, something, whatever. It's like, I don't know.
Well, so, I mean, they kind of do that in the games a bit. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes, especially back when these games are coming out, like game writers are a little bit more aware of this and how to incorporate the source material into their own story. Whereas newer stuff, you don't really get that.
Exactly. Exactly. Syscorp says Easter eggs are incidental. I think that's correct. I think all fan service in movies should be incidental, unless there's actually some plot related reason why you're, you know, constantly referencing the original material, which happens. It happens a lot in comedies. I think that's great. But whatchamacallit? But yeah, for the most part, yes. So all those things. Yes. Gobi Borgo Home says, Anna, you should check out Evan Nova 95's channel. His content is all based on the EU, no Disney. It's a lot of fun, in my humble opinion. Reminds me why I love Star Wars.
I think I know that channel. Let me look it up.
95. That's cool. I don't know them, but that sounds cool. Hey, real quick, can you think of somebody in history who did something really, really fucked up?
I'm subscribed to this channel.
Oh, cool. Nice. Hey, just real quick, off the cuff, can you think of somebody, or anyone in the chat, feel free to throw one in, can think of somebody in history that did something really, really terrible and then tried to make amends for it afterwards, but it just didn't work? Just if someone can think of an example, that'd be great. No rush. But John Jenkins says, I love your SmackDown, Jesse and Anna. I love your spunkin' heart. More content, Jesse. I'm having withdrawals. John Jenkins, I've been hearing this a lot, actually. And you know what? It's really heartening to me because I kind of had gotten to a place where, you know, this year's been crazy. My channel's been in the you know, been funky. And so I just haven't been producing things and have been feeling like, probably no one misses it. But every time I put something out, all the things, wonderful things you guys say about it, and more and more now, I'm hearing you guys telling me this, that you're, you know, having withdrawals, you're missing the rants, you need some rants in your life. So thank you, because I did not think anyone was missing them as much as they are. So, JSmith84, he's actually not a troll. This is why I was asking for this example of someone in history who did the thing. Drunk, I will not. Don't worry. I'm actually going to set an alarm right now. And you know what I'm going to do for you, Drunk, because I care and because I cannot be upscaled by your fantastic composed look and all that.
Oh, are you doing his interview show?
I am. Have you done it yet?
No.
I think he just started. Like, his Jeff was like,
no, he's been doing it for a while. I've been listening to all of them, but I've been yelling at him because I love listening to interview shows. And so, I mean, that's kind of why I have mine, but I don't do it as often because it's,
how long ago did you start it then? Because I know it's been, you know, not like just like last week.
Well, he does it for his members. So it's a live stream and then it goes to members only.
Gotcha.
And so I like to watch them while I paint. And so I ran out of them and I messaged him, I was like, do more freaking interviews so I have more things to watch.
Oh, that must be why he's been going ham on getting people. It's probably your fault. Because I just know, like, noticing, like, right, like, at the same time, he was like, Jeff, come on, do this. Jeff, Jessica, go on, do this and whatnot. I was like, oh, he must be ramping up with this thing. But I guess he had to up his production to meet your demand. Yeah, I'm super stoked to do it because I was actually last time when Jeff was on it, it was just so much fun to listen to. He's just such a great host.
Also, he does. After watching all of them, because I was watching them back to back.
Yeah.
He tells the same fucking story every single live stream. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be disappointed if he doesn't tell the story to you in the live stream. So
I know, because I've already heard it, since I've been I've been over here. I was in there for the room, so I'll make fun of him if he does. But thank you, John Jenkins, for that super chat from before. And Laroic says, I gotta go, but love you all. Take care, and I'll try to be around more often. We always love seeing you, Laroic. Obviously, you're always welcome to watch these, when you do have the time. I'm sure you're very busy. But it's always great to hear from you because you're a great friend and a wonderful person. Oh, okay. I see what's up.
Yes, the shirt story. Every single time you tell that damn story. It's every interview he's done. He's told that story.
I fucking love it. Oh, I fucking love it. So yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. You guys are the best. The Mindless Mob, you guys really are the greatest fans on the internet. I couldn't ask for a better group of supporters for this channel and for this community, because I'm truly lucky. That's one of the things, the flip of me saying, oh, I didn't think anyone cared about my videos and this and that, is in spite of that, in spite of, being worried that I was, I'm shadow banned on YouTube. I probably am. I know I am. It's very frustrating because you see things like pointedly, you do all this work and you see the growth that comes off of a video or something like that, and then overnight the exact number of subs you got from your video all gets erased. It's very frustrating. The flip of that, though, is even with YouTube shadow banning me for over a year now, for a year and a half now, even with all the crap that they're doing to me, I have been able to continue to make a living on YouTube by putting out videos and doing these live streams for you guys, because you show up. This is it. People talk about vote with your wallets and vote with your interest and vote with your attendance. You guys are doing it. And the fact that you show up every single week for all of the shows and support the channel and are this passionate in the chat, you guys keep this alive. This is as much you as it is me. And when we keep going, when we break out of the shadow ban, or we migrate into other bigger places, when we expand beyond YouTube, all your names, these names that I read out loud when we get on the shows, Ryan Dyer and John 42, Sketch Therapy, Runs with Phantoms, you guys that I'm seeing week after week, always in the chat, right? And even if I didn't read your name right now, don't worry, I know a lot more than just those few people. You guys will not be forgotten. When we take those next steps and stuff like that, you guys are always going to be special to us. You guys are always going to have a more direct line and a more, and your words are going to hold more weight, and you're going to have our ear in a way that other people don't, because you were always there. Because you believed in us when other people didn't. You believed in us when other people were going out actively trying to tear us down, doing everything in their power to stop us from succeeding. You guys were here and you guys believed in us. And that love and appreciation is a two-way street. Drunk 3 says Jesse is the best, but please bring back SJW Wednesday. Well, Drunk, check out author Stephen Walton's Tuesday stream from yesterday, because Social Justice Jessie did make a cameo appearance. She did have something to say about redheads on that stream yesterday, and it was brought up that how much you miss her, and everyone else in the panel agreed. So 2021 Social Justice Jessie will be coming back in some form or another. You have my word. But yes, that's all I want to say. You guys, if you've been watching the streams lately, the past couple weeks, I'm feeling it this time of year. I had a wonderful holiday, a wonderful birthday. I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the giving. I'm feeling the care. And if anyone wants to fuck with that, if anyone wants to come in and demonstrate they are not about love or care, or unity, that they actually want to sow division and hate and shit like that, fuck right off. Because love and care doesn't mean that I am not going to kick your ass into last fucking year. I will kick you so hard, you will get stuck in 2020 fucking permanently. You are not welcome in our new tomorrow. The only people who are not welcome in the new tomorrow are the bullshit people who want to cling to their bullshit made up identities and definitions of what it means to be moral and good and tear the rest of us down. My world that I am building for myself is for people who can figure out that no matter what you look like, what you believe in, and how you act, there are commonalities, and we should all treat each other with the same basic human fucking decency. And if you don't like that, I will kick your ass back into 2020, and you can fucking stay here and scream at clouds for the rest of your goddamn life. Love, bitches, love.
That's my soccer player.
That's my new motto. What'd you say?
I said you should be a soccer player.
And I am Void says, yo, is there a way to get the I should just be I don't know, keep talking. I am Void. Yes. The way to get the wrench is by showing up in the chat repeatedly and demonstrating that you are a member of this chat that I can implicitly trust to do things like ban people as necessary or post supplementary links to other things. So I am Void. Generally speaking, I like to see the same people show up a little bit after, for a period of time. But if you're in the chat a bunch, if you're at a lot of the live streams, it is a powerful tool. It helps me out because it gives you the ability to help us, police the chat when people want to get gross or creepy or weird and stuff like that. Gives you the ability to post links. So you have the power now to, social media links or videos and stuff like that for me or for whomever else. So with great power comes great responsibility. That is the way. And for anyone else who's like, I want to be a wrench in the mindless mob, anybody can be. All you got to do is just not be an asshole in the chat. That's pretty much it. Don't be an asshole in the chat. Be around and make me feel like I can trust you to not fuck up my chat if I give you that power. That's all. But yeah, I think I'm going with that. I think my motto for right now is love, bitches, love. So, Anna, what would you like to say to the world before we wrap up episode 20? I had this in my head earlier. 20 something of the Matriarchy.
I know. I was doing like the re-upload thing onto the other channel, and I was trying to like number them, and I was like, "Fuck, what number is this one?" And I'm like going back to your channel, looking to like make sure the ones I re-upload are correct. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is complicated." Yeah. I need to start just making how like in the thumbnail. I need to finish that and then get like the number so we know.
We'll be more professional.
We can keep track of it just for ourselves, but for this. Yeah. This one,
I think it's 28. I think this one's 28.
28. It was Tulip's second birthday. She turned 2. She's the sweetest little girl in the world. So I just wanted everyone to be reminded of that on Monday. That happened. That was the best thing ever. We took her to the puppy beach. She had a great day. We gave her all the T words, and she's a happy little camper. And now she thinks, I don't know. I feel like she thinks something special happened, and then like the Christmas tree is out, and she's all happy, and I feel like she's just has this extra like little spark to her step. And I was like, "What are you plotting?" Like, I feel like something's amiss. So I wanted to say that now because I've had that feeling for a few days, and I'm like, something's gonna happen. Or she did something, and I just haven't found it yet.
Are you worried you're just going to find the wrong pile of something in the wrong place?
Or she broke, or she chewed something up, and she hid it for me, and I haven't found it yet. But I feel like something's amiss. So when I find out whatever that is in the next couple days, remember I brought it up now. But oh shoot, it's already almost 7.
Yeah, geez,
I've been going to bed at 8 p.m.
Oh, well, it's almost bedtime then.
It is. But Drunk 3PO is about to go live, everyone, at 7. So everyone go over and check out his stream. He's going to talk about Ryan Johnson, because we didn't even talk about that. Jesse, did you know that Luke's relationship was with Darth Vader, not with Anakin?
Oh, right. That bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because Ryan Johnson definitely understands Star Wars better than anyone else in the world. Before we really close out, just in one sentence, your thoughts on Jeremy going full retard for Dave Filoni.
What happened?
Didn't she wrote? So I don't know what his video is, but it says it's like Dave Filoni is the new George Lucas for Star Wars or something like that.
Oh God, what?
Yeah. I didn't watch the video. I was like, I can't. I love you, bro. I can't. I can't go down this. I can't go down this journey with you. You're going down a place I can't follow. So I didn't realize you were not aware of that, but yeah.
I don't get notifications for anyone's channels anymore since YouTube switched the system.
I never get any notifications. I haven't, but no, I found
out the other day I was unsubscribed from Ethan. Like I was watching his stream. I went to go refill my water bottle. I came back, I refreshed the stream, and I was unsubscribed.
What?
Yep.
That's BS. I'm still subbed. That's good. That's so stupid on so many levels. People wonder why we get frustrated as YouTubers. I wonder why we get frustrated trying to make this our job when stuff like that happens all the effing time. Not fair, not fun. Any hoozle. Fuck you too. Jeremy should never go. No one should ever go full retard. I give Jeremy a pass because Jeremy is so close to full retard at all times that it's not that far to trip. So, but generally speaking, no one should go full retard. But just don't hold it. Just understand that Jeremy's working from a place of disadvantage, so don't hold it against him too much. I love shitting on, even though we, Geeks and Gamers is off doing its own thing, and Jeremy, I don't get to hang out as much as we used to. It is still fun to lovingly shit on him. But yeah, so guys, love bitches, love, and bring that into the world. And any last thoughts, last words?
I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Go raid Drunk 3PO's stream.
Yeah,
there you go. Go raid Drunk stream. He's gonna be going live soon. I think he's gonna open up PO Box presents and then talk about the Ryan Johnson thing.
Also, guys, that big project that we've been teasing and trickling more and more about, Anna and Jeff's big new cover for Solo, is the mailing list is up now. So there it goes. The comic will launch. The Indiegogo itself will launch with a mostly finished version of the cover for you to see next Thursday on the WCBS podcast. So if you guys are excited, also make sure you are there next Thursday for the launch, because there's a special, super, super exclusive original High Council cover that is only going to be available on the first day. So make sure you're there next Thursday and to see Anna's incredible.
Have you checked out Rainbow Brute yet?
Have what?
Have you checked out Ethan's new Rainbow Brute?
Not yet. I'm excited though.
It looks legit.
Oh man. I'm very excited for that.
I think next week on my channel, maybe same time.
Yes, next week on Matriarchy, 3 p.m. But also make sure you're there to check out this comic launch. Anna put so many hours of incredible work into it. This is the best Fandom Menace piece of art ever created. That is a statement of fact that I don't like. I mean, Fandom Menace is a piece of art about the Fandom Menace, not a piece of art created by a Fandom Menacer. I mean, a piece of art created about the Fandom Menace. I know we've all done tons and tons of amazing pieces of fan art over the years since this incredible community has formed. But Jeff had this incredible concept, and Anna brought it to fruition in a way no one else could have. And it really is. You guys are going to agree. I can say this with 100% because you guys are going to agree when you see this. This is the hands down best piece of art of the Fandom Menace ever made.
Well, thank you.
So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're signed up on that mailing list so you'll get the alert as soon as it drops, just in case anything changes with it. And you guys are going to want, this is going to be a great thing. A great thing is, even though the campaign will still be running through the holidays, it's a great IOU for a gift. You can trust me. You can show that if you show them a picture of this cover, if someone's a Phantom Menace fan, you show them a picture of this cover, and you're like, this is what you're getting. They're going to cream their pants. Perfect time to, even though the physical product will be there in time for the holidays, it's still a great gift idea and all of those things. So definitely stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you guys have 10 minutes to go grab a drink, use the bathroom, and then hunker in for Drunk stream. We'll be on Anna's stream 3 p.m. next week. I'll be on Thirsty Thursday tomorrow night. Raging Rhino is trying to make it work to come on and talk Mandalorian with us. So if you want to hear a Raging Australian come with endless things to say about the Mandalorian and Star Wars in general, first of all, pressure Raging to make it, pressure Rhino to make it work with his schedule, and then tune in tomorrow night. Awesome. Her greatest cover is yet to come. I don't know, Drunk. You haven't seen this one yet. So you may find that you may change your tune. So stay tuned and get excited, because we are barely more than a week away from the launch of the coolest piece of Phantom Menace art ever. So much amazing art coming from creators in the fandom right now, and so much amazing vibes. So keep it up, Mindless Mob. You guys are the greatest. Anna, you're the greatest. 'Tis the season of giving thanks. So I'd like to take a moment. I'll do it again, every Matriarchy we have, but I'd like to give thanks for you, because you are an incredible part of my life. And you've been an incredible inspiration and motivator, even as my channel's had struggles and this and that. And you're a friend I know I will always be able to rely on. So thank you.
Aw, thank you, Jesse. I love you too.
I love you so much. And never ever forget, guys, practice makes wrong. God Empress out.